State Park in Houston, Texas. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Houston Astros. It's game 2 of a 6-game homestand. The Astros won the opener last night, and it has been raining hard for hours leading up to game 2 of this one. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Or Wednesday, we should say. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros have won 9 straight on Wednesday.
And as the analyst, I'm supposed to explain that. I cannot. However, I can show you some numbers. It's just flat out goofy. A team that has struggled to win all year long for whatever reason, when it's Wednesday, they break it out in a big way, averaging almost 6 runs a game, hitting about 30 points higher than their norm. 319 with runners in scoring position. I imagine the pitchers are down there wrestling in the clubhouse to see who gets to start on Wednesday night for the Astros in 2010.
Well, Brian Moeller gets that nod tonight and against Daniel McCutchen. And the Tuesday hitters are ready to go. They hit home runs in the same game last night. It was Carlos Lee and Lance Berkman. They homered in the same game for the second time this year. With the Astros going on to take the opener of this homestand. Game 2 comes your way next. Texas Ford dealers and the 2010 F-150. By Jack in the Box and by the Progressive Insurance Group. Well, this game would have been rained out without a roof. It has absolutely poured for a couple of hours leading up to game time. Very, very heavy rain. That's going to cut down on the attendance at tonight's game. Pittsburgh and Houston meeting for the second time in a 3-game series. The finale will be an afternoon game tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit more permissible for travel. Michael was born to be an Astro, and Michael Bourne not only is an Astro, but he's an Astro All-Star for the first time in his career after winning a Gold Glove last year. His talents were on display last night. Tomorrow at 1:05, it's Roy Oswalt and Ross Ollendorf. But tonight, John Russell has assembled his lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are 30-53. And it looks this way. Andrew McCutchen, center field. Jose Tabata, left field. Neil Walker, second base. Garrett Jones, first base. Pedro Alvarez, third base. Ryan Doman is the catcher. It's Ryan Church in right field. Ronnie Cedeno is the shortstop. And Daniel McCutchen is the pitcher.
Well, Brian Moeller made 4 starts against the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. This is his first start against them in 2010. Last 3 outings, he has thrown the ball very well. A loss, a win, and a no decision in those 3 starts, but good numbers throughout. An ERA of 2.70 for those 3 games. And considering that 2 of them were against that Texas Ranger lineup, that is most impressive. And defensively, it looks like this. Lee Bourne and Pence cover the pasture. Chris Johnson made a sparkling play last night at third base. Angel Sanchez, the newcomer, at short. Captain Darren Berkman man the right side. Q flashes the signals.
Chris Johnson is loving life as a big leaguer. He was telling me before the game tonight, JD, that unlike AAA, there's more of an adjustment made quicker at the major league level. More of an at-bat to at-bat type adjustment, and he has to recognize that and be on it. Here's a fabulous play he made at third base last night.
Yeah, he's really been swinging the bat well since coming up. Last night he had a tough night offensively, 0 for 4, but robbing an extra base hit from Andrew McCutchen there, laying out to snare that line drive. And I think, you know, one of the big differences between the big leagues and the minor leagues, too, is the information you have at your disposal to make those adjustments. Scouting reports and all the video and all that stuff. I mean, you can run up in the clubhouse and watch your at-bat 5 minutes after it takes place.
That was so cute.
Andrew McCutchen will get it started. 323 at home in spacious PNC Park. 273 on the road with 6 of his 7 homers on the road, and he's put together a 5-game hitting streak. McCutchen last night batted third, and he had a hit and a walk. There's strike 1. Jeff Nelson is the home plate umpire, and Brian Moeller has been pitching well. Brian's 1-4, but that belies the way he's been throwing the ball lately. He's had some no decisions in which he has kept the score down, but the Astros have either blown the lead late or not scored to support him. 0-2 to McCutchen.
Yeah, all the starters last time through the rotation have been very good. Since the game in Milwaukee, when Brett Myers gave up 4 home runs and 7 runs, 6 games since then, the starting pitching has been outstanding.
No balls, 2 strikes for Brian Moeller. He is 6-7 in his career against the Pirates with a 5.47 ERA. Last time out Thursday night at San Diego, he gave up 1 run in 5 2/3. He left with a 3-1 lead. The Astros won that one in the 10th, 6-3. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count for Brian. Humberto Quintero has caught him the last couple of starts, and they have worked together very well. Brian has a lot of different offerings at his disposal. Q talked about that in his pregame interview on Astros Live with Greg Lucas. That's a fly ball over second base. Michael Bourne moves into shallow center field, and it's out number 1. We'll get in on the hands of McCutchen.
That's the thing Brian Moeller probably does best of all, is locate his pitches. He's not overpowering. He's 83, 84 with his fastball right now. He'll get it up into the high 80s. But his command is typically very good. He started to work in some changeups to right-handed hitters in the last 2 or 3 starts, because the righties have actually been more problematic for him than the lefties. His cutter in and then running fastball changeup combination to lefties has been pretty solid. But his game against the right-handers, he's been a little bit short in terms of weapons, so he started to mix in more changeups.
235 for Jose Tabata with 1 homer, 6 runs batted in, 0 for 4 last night. He chops 1 to shortstop, 2 hopper for Sanchez. 2 down for Moeller, both routine plays, and now he moves on to face Neil Walker. Walker, Pittsburgh born, 24 years old, a first-round pick in 04. Last year he had 36 at-bats with the Pirates. Now more of a trial for him as he's become more versatile, playing a lot of second base. 295, 3 homers, 12 runs batted in. He was drafted as a catcher, but then was a third baseman. In 08, he was the best defensive third baseman in the International League. Now his opportunity comes at second, and there's strike 1 to him.
A very gifted athlete, an outstanding football player in high school. Scored 21 touchdowns as a wideout, a senior. They play pretty good football up there in the Pittsburgh area.
Oh, yeah. No balls, 2 strikes. A lot of great quarterbacks have come from that area. Joe Montana, Dan Marino. Johnny Unitas was quite a quarterback there.
Joe Willie.
Joe Willie, yeah. Those numbers have grown closer together the last few starts. JD, the right-handers were doing more damage against Bryant a few starts ago.
He's a wily veteran. He knows how to make adjustments.
Coming in on Walker, and it's there, but off the plate, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Neal. Neal had a hit and a walk last night. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pirates have won 4 of their last 6. They just took 3 of 4 from the Phillies prior to this series. They have had major road struggles this year. They're 11-33 away from PNC Park. And a swing and a miss there gets Moeller a strikeout in a very good first inning with no score. Center field, Jeff Keppinger at second base. Lance Berkman's the first baseman. The cleanup man, El Caballo. Carlos Lee's in left field. With Hunter Pence in right field, Chris Johnson third base, Humberto Quintero the catcher, Angel Sanchez at shortstop, and Brian Moeller is the pitcher.
27-year-old Daniel McCutchen for the Pirates tonight. He's pitched 6 times, 5 as a starter, 1-3, 8.87 ERA for McCutchen. The long ball has been a big problem for him. He has allowed 7 home runs in 23 in the third innings of work. If he keeps it in the ballpark, these are the guys that will run him down. A good outfield, especially with McCutchen in center. Ronnie Cedeno has made 6 errors. The Pirates have made 66 errors this year. Only the Florida Marlins and the Washington Nationals have made more.
Michael Bourne was quite a catalyst last night. He takes the first pitch there from McCutchen, and it's ball 1, 262 with a 337 on base average. Michael has scored 50. He scored 2 last night, going 2 for 5.
Outfield playing him the other way and shallow. McCutchen, a very daring center fielder, really shortened up, and Michael could yank one into that alley in right center. It would be an easy triple.
Broken bat, it rolls out the shortstop. Cedeno comes in for it and clips him by a step. He had to come after that ball, which was hit softly for out number 1.
There was an infield hit by Michael Bourne that got things started for the Astros last night. They turned that into a first inning run. Changeup is McCutchen's best pitch, and that's what he threw right there. Nice play by Cedeno. The ball hit the back of the mound and just skimmed along the grass. It's fastball, breaking pitch, changeup from McCutchen. Not a real hard thrower. And you look at his AAA numbers. He didn't have many strikeouts down there either. Typically, that doesn't translate well to the big league level.
Ball 1 to Jeff Keppinger, 285 for Jeff. 1 homer, 29 runs batted in. He had 3 hits last night. His last 3 times up, 1 an RBI double. He smacks one a long way, left center field, top back, turning, and Keppinger sends one on a long ride. He can trot around to make it 1-0. Second home run of the season for Keppinger, and that's the 8th allowed now by McCutchen.
Swing of the bat there by Keppinger, picked on that fastball. No movement. Right down the middle, kind of a hanging fastball. Trying to go down and away. And when you don't throw hard and you don't get good movement, you have to be very precise, or that happens. Not all the time. But a fair amount of the time against these big league hitters.
That was a blast.
It's a 14 major league home runs allowed by McCutchen this year and last in 60 innings of work. That's a pretty big number.
And Berkman just took ball one. Keppinger's last homer came June 5th. Line drive to right. And reaching down to snag it is Ryan Church. 2 outs. Astros hit a couple of long balls last night. They've hit 51 this season. Carlos Lee provided one of those. Daniel McCutchen, who was born in McKinney, Texas, had a good career at Oklahoma, going 18-16, a 3.98 ERA for the Sooners.
That's where his manager played. John Russell played at Oklahoma.
Carlos Lee with 11 homers, 42 driven in, has a .235 average. He was mentioning in interviews after the game last night the fact that he and Lance Berkman normally do not get hot at the same time, and that is their goal from this point on this season. Takes the breaking pitch. Carlos was 2 for 4 last night. He's hit .385 against the Buccos this season.
I think it was their goal from opening day. It just didn't happen.
It didn't happen, no.
That's the thing about it. Getting hot, you know, most hitters, it's something that happens. They don't, you know, they can't make it happen.
Carlos did have a good month of June, so he has a base to build upon, as they say. Looking at that one, and it's 3-1. The Astros trail by 14.5. The Pirates are 17 games off the front-running pace being set by the Reds right now. Foul, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Happy birthday wishes to Dr. James Farrar, who is 79. He's in Shreveport, Louisiana. Retired now, but he was the Astros scout who signed J.R. Richard. He got a phone call from J.R. about 8 o'clock this morning, and he signed Roy Oswalt. It's a foul to the great Houston pitching talents in the history of this franchise, signed by the same guy.
And he's a doctor?
He's a doctor.
Doctor of scouting?
I don't know, probably.
Got his PhD in finding hard throwing right-handers.
You know it. Fouled away, and it's 3-2 still. Well, McCutchen got a chance to come to the big leagues last year. He was 1-2 with the Pirates after going 13-6 at AAA Indianapolis. He had a good ERA there at 3.47. Pitched in relief here on the 24th of April this year. Carlos works a walk. Lays off that down and away fastball, and McCutchen has a base runner facing Hunter Pence. McCutchen pitched a fine game for John Russell last time out, July 1st, beating the Phillies 3-2, giving up 1 earned run in 5 1/3 innings. Pence with 11 homers, 38 runs batted in, carries a .257 batting average. Hunter was 2 for 4 last night. He had an RBI double in the 7th inning of the Astros 6-2 win. They pounded out a dozen hits last night. There's the block, and it stays close enough for Ryan Domit that Carlos Lee hangs on at first on ball 1.
That's a pretty good breaking ball there. If you have 2 strikes on the hitter, that's a ball you might get a hitter to chase. Tough to get a hitter to go after that one. Ryan Domit has really struggled throwing out base stealers this year, just 9%.
Ground ball, left side, backhanded. Cedeno on the run, fires to a stretching Walker for the force play on Lee. And the Keppinger homer gets the Astros off to a 1-0 lead through 1.
Youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. For more info on Chevy's commitment to youth baseball, visit ChevyTexasBaseball.com.
Rainy night outside. Inside, Brian Mulder and the Astros lead at 1-0 after 1. Folks enjoying the food. And they're nibbling away as Mulder goes to work on Garrett Jones, the first baseman, with 10 homers to lead the club and 51 runs batted in, also tops. Mulder catches the inside corner, and there's strike one to Jones. Jones 1 for 4 with an RBI in last night's game. Turns on that one and sends it high and foul. 0-2 count. Well, the Cardinals had a tough loss last night. They led 9-3 going to the bottom of the ninth, and the Rockies beat them 12-9. So the Reds have a 2-game lead in the NL Central right now.
9-run lead.
Yeah. Ryan Franklin was in for a bunch of those runs too. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seth Smith had the game-winning 3-run homer off Franklin, and they were going nuts at Coors Field. Tap foul.
Probably the ballpark where you would most expect that to happen, if you could ever expect that kind of a comeback to happen.
Yeah. So the Redbirds will be here starting Friday night. They're currently 7 games over 500. Adam Wainwright to pitch one of those games against the Astros. That'll be Friday night against Bud Norris.
John Russell actually doing Brian Mueller a favor tonight. His lineup with 2 switch hitters, 3 left-handed bats, so Brian will see 5 left-handed hitters of the 8 position players in this lineup. And that really plays to his strength. We've already seen it with the punch out of Walker. Got that cutter in under his hands. I'm going to try it here with Jones.
And gets a lazy fly ball. Sanchez looking out to Michael Bourne, who spreads out for it and doesn't make the catch. Bourne came in hard, and as he hit the ground, the ball rolled out of his glove, so Jones is on with a looping fly ball single.
Yeah, initially I thought he had it measured, but obviously did not. Made a valiant effort here at the last. He's coming up a little bit short.
The ball deflected off his body.
I was worried when you see an outfielder dive straight in like that.
Yeah.
You put your wrist and shoulders in kind of a vulnerable position, jumping left, diving left or right, not so much.
Pedro Alvarez is on an 8-game hitting streak. 1 for 4 last night. Moeller delivers ball 1 to Alvarez, a .212 hitter with 2 homers, 9 runs batted in.
Ball 1 right down the middle.
Had a chat with Sean Berry tonight about the great pitching in the game this year. Okay. Fox Tracks does show that one inside, and it's 2-0. What other reasons? There are many articles being written about that here around midseason time. Sean thinks the low strike call is one major reason the pitchers are being so successful this year. Crack that roller. Keppinger, Sanchez, and Berkman team up for a double play. Astros 79th double play of the year. Keppinger just with that body turn. No step at all necessary for Jeff.
Sharp ground ball. Easy double play.
Sanchez the middleman. And that takes care of 2 outs. Now it's Ryan Domit.
So Sean is of the opinion that the umpires are calling more low strikes this year than in, say, last year?
Yes. Domit looks at ball 1.
Does he have evidence to back that up? Or just his philosophy watching our games? Just kind of based on what he's seeing.
As Yogi said, you can observe a lot by watching.
Just by watching, yeah.
Or at least that's one of the statements attributed to him, many of which are not originated by him. 2 balls, no strikes to Domit. Domit had a hit and drove in a run last night. But yeah, just based on what he's seen, he doesn't buy into some of the other arguments and reasons given for all the great pitching performances this season. 3-0.
I haven't noticed the bigger strike zone, but I can't say that, I mean, he obviously as a hitting coach, he's paying a lot of attention to that.
And he looks at all the video.
I haven't heard that it's been a point of emphasis among the umpires to make the strike zone bigger.
I've heard that.
A few years ago that there was talk that they were trying to tighten the strike zone in and out, but they were supposed to be calling it a little more up, to call him the high ball was the one. Because it used to be if you threw the ball belt high, you could never get it called a strike. And we've seen some umpires call the high strike now.
Yeah. That's a liner into center. Domit went up and got on top of that one for a single on the 3-1 count. He's aboard.
I think it's because the hitters are off the juice.
Well, that's certainly one big theory advanced. Another is that maybe more attention is being paid to the development of pitchers. Another one that there are more pitchers throwing harder now, especially relievers. And then they point to guys like Ubaldo Jimenez and Roy Halladay, just the number of different pitches they throw and the command they have of those pitches. Ryan Church hasn't done much on the road. 133 for Ryan, and he takes strike 1 here. He didn't play last night.
And I've heard some say that more guys are throwing cut fastballs than ever before. And so, when you see a guy like Mariano Rivera's had so much success with that pitch, it stands to reason that guys are going to start to try to mimic that a little bit.
Snap throw to first, safe.
Who knows? Maybe the hitters will go off in the second half, and the numbers will blow back up again, and it'll all be washed away.
It's going to be one of those rare years compared to the last couple of decades at the current pace of the home run leaders and the no-hitters and perfect games and things of that nature. On the other hand, it's been the trend in the first half. We'll see if it reverses. Low-scoring games. Up the left field line, it slices foul. 1-2 to Ryan Church. He bounced around Cleveland to Montreal to Atlanta and New York for a short time. He went to the University of Nevada, where he pitched for a while until he converted to outfield. Native of Santa Barbara, California. Pirates signed him in January as a free agent for $1.5 million. And that's another of those pitches that Moeller has really mastered. That one right there that he just threw, JD.
Yeah, it's that cut fastball. And the left-handed hitters, it looks good to him, but it's got late movement off the barrel in towards the hands. He gets a lot of weak pop-ups with it.
Brad Arnsberg has watched Moeller come from the bullpen to be effective as a starter. This is his 8th start. 2-2. Took over when Bud Norris was on the disabled list. Now Norris is back and Moeller stays with Felipe Paulino on the DL. Paulino is making real progress, and the plans are for him to start game number 5 after the All-Star break in Chicago if he continues to be ready to go.
Is he going to make a rehab start? Or
No,
is he
he's
just
not.
going to simulate?
He's going to simulate, but no rehab start in the minors. That's the plan. Jeff Blum had right elbow surgery today for bone chips. 3 bone chips removed from the elbow. And hopefully he'll be back in a few weeks.
And for you Jeff Blum fans, you can find those bone chips at eBay. They're going for $450 each right now.
Beautiful change of speed. He struck him out. That's number 2 for Moeller, and he leads it 1-0. Matchup is brought to you by the 2011 Jaguar XJ, and we see the 2 prospects in this game at the hot corner. Pedro Alvarez, called up June 16th, and he's 3 years younger than Chris Johnson, a 4th round pick in 06, but both getting steady playing time now at the hot corner.
And both these teams making a move in the direction of youth here in recent weeks. Pirates going with a handful of guys. The Astros bringing Johnson and Castro to the big leagues. Jason Bourgeois up as well. But Jason been around a little bit.
Chris Johnson 9 for 19 his last 6 games. He's hitless last night. And curveball works for a strike for McCutchen. Johnson 0 for 4 last night. 3 grounders and a strikeout. Rounds 1, and Alvarez is there. Take care of out number 1 for McCutchen. Now Humberto Quintero trying to snap an 0 for 20. 232, 3 homers, 9 runs batted in for Q. Pirates starting pitchers have an ERA of 5.56 as a group. Brad Lincoln was the starter last night. He took the loss, giving up 7 hits and 5 earned runs in 5 innings, with the Astros winning that one 6-2. Big night for him, though, as his family and friends were here watching. Strike 1 to Q. Daniel McCutchen might have some family here from McKinney, Texas.
I should hope so.
4 balls, 2 strikes. Brad Lincoln the day after. He had been coming off a beauty the game before. It's 1-2 to Quintero.
Touching with a little more life on that fastball than I've been led to believe. That one clocked at 93 miles an hour. Overthrew it a little bit, lost command.
2-2. McCutcheon had excellent control in the minor leagues. He had averaged fewer than 2 walks per 9 innings, on the way to a 40-22 minor league record coming into this season. Really blossomed last year at Indianapolis, walking 29 in 142 innings. And he gets a swing and a miss for his first strikeout of the night. He was involved in that huge Yankee trade with Pittsburgh. The pitch.
It's funny because it's pretty much the same pitch that Keppinger hit out of the ballpark. Fastball that was intended to be down and away. That was over the plate and up a little bit. Keppinger got to it. Q was a little tardy.
Now Angel Sanchez bunts. It looks like a good one. Barehanded Alvarez. The throw is offline. Sanchez bunts his way on. And it's a bunt single for him. His second hit as an Astro.
A real nice bunt. And you see Alvarez back and then coming hard as he sees Angel drop the bat head down. You know, and a lot of times with your 8-hole hitter up there with 2 outs, you don't want him bunting it. Go ahead, try to hit a double, and give the pitcher a chance to drive in. But for Brian, I think the priority here was to clear this spot in the batting order. Any way you can get on to get Mo up, and Mo's not a good hitter. He's hitting 111 this year, which is probably his best year ever. He's 1 for 9.
Career 045, 9 hits and 201 at bats for Brian.
That quote that you always hear baseball players talk about: stay within yourself. And sometimes you say, well, you got your 8-hole hitter up there. If you got Wandy on deck or Paulino, a guy who handles the bat pretty well, hey, go ahead and swing it on Hell. Try to get yourself an extra base hit, and we got a chance to drive you in. But with Mo coming up next, it makes sense. Do whatever you can to get on base, clear this spot.
We don't hear that from Joey Chestnut or any of the competitive eaters on the circuit these days.
Stay within yourself?
Yeah.
Taking one hot dog at a time. Big scandal there on the 4th of July at the Nathan's Hot Dog.
What happened?
Oh, Kobayashi tried to crash the party. He's in a contract dispute with the Federation or whatever it's called of eaters. And spent the night in jail.
Are you making this up?
No. Obviously, it was all staged.
Widely reported, obviously.
Yeah, because in advance of it, that was the big scandal. Kobayashi's not going to participate. Then the rumors were that he might show up and try to storm the stage.
It's great stuff. Great theater. And there's the strikeout, but the Astros do get the pitcher to the plate to make the final out. It's no runs a hit and a man stranded. It's 1-0 Houston.
0 after a Jeff Keppinger home run. Hey, 10 Astros games for $20. I kid you not. For a limited time, you can score an outfield deck seat to 10 select Astros games for only $20 with the 10 for $20 plan. That's only $2 a game and a savings of $50 per plan. This offer is only available online, so buy yours at Astros.com tonight. Bill, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. It is 1-0. Brian Moeller and the Astros lead it. And Brian's first pitch of the third inning is strike one to Ronnie Cedeno, a .219 hitter with 4 homers. He's driven in 16. Cedeno hits it to left field, sending Carlos Lee back, and he turns to watch that one bang off the wall and stay right there near the bullpen area for a double for Cedeno, his 10th of the year. That one drops straight down. Well, there's your theory of the number 8 guy. In this case, nobody out, getting the extra base hit. JD.
And on ball again, similar to the home run that Keppinger hit off McCutchen, a fastball that drifted over the middle of the plate. Cedeno puts a nice smooth stroke on it, really extends through the ball.
He is now 5 for 12 in his career against Moeller. 10 doubles, puts him in scoring position for the pitcher McCutchen. The Astros expect a bunt from him. He has 1 sacrifice, 1 hit in 6 at-bats. Berkman in, Johnson in, looking over his left shoulder at the runner. Q comes up, draws the arm back, and it's strike one call to McCutchen.
Yeah, it's a situation there when you're called upon to bunt. You get a strike, you got to bunt it. You just put yourself in a little bit of a hole. You put the base runner in peril because the base runner sees the ball in the strike zone. He's thinking you're going to bunt at it, so he's trying to get a good jump.
Berkman's in tight. It's bunted and it hits him foul.
This is all about Berkman right here. The fact that he didn't bunt the first one and then tried to be fine with that second one is because he could basically he can feel Lance's breath on him. Because Lance is just giving him no quarter whatsoever. I mean, he is right on top of him. So you got to do one of two things. Just go ahead and try to deaden the ball out in front of home plate or pull the bat back and swing.
Lance probably did not have garlic fries before this game tonight. He's swinging and he's missing and striking out for number 3 of the night.
McCutchen's a pretty good athlete, so I imagine he can handle the bat a little bit better than he just showed. But that was all about Lance getting in his head and living there.
Credit Lance with 1/3 of that strikeout.
A K to Brian and a K assist to Lance.
So the Puma has an influence, even though he doesn't use his glove on the play. Here's Andrew McCutchen. Get the fly ball to center. McCutchen takes a look at that high pitch, and it's ball 1. Hits that outside slot. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to 23-year-old Andrew McCutchen, who hit .286 last year for the Pirates and really established himself as a fine everyday player. Had 22 steals. That's 20 already this year. Keppinger trying to keep the base runner Cedeno close there as the count runs to 1-2.
And he threw the cutter before. Now a little come on back two-seamer starts away and then drifts back to the outside corner.
Foul ball out of play. Moeller's first start was at Cincinnati. That was in late May.
Something's bothering Brian. I thought I noticed it last inning.
Could be the groin again.
Something. Body language last inning after a pitch, and then Q saw something. He's bringing Brad Mills and Nate out there.
Well, that groin has prevented him from doing his running between starts for about a month now. Could be, might be something else. Hard to say. But he's a physical fitness addict. so to speak. Casey Daigle's warming up in the bullpen, and Brian has been saying, well, I'd like to be doing my running between starts, but with the groin I just can't do it. That was an injury he got from covering first base and taking a toss quite some time ago. He's been nursing it for a while now, so he'll throw a pitch or two here and see how that feels.
Well, what you have to do here is you have to throw a pitch at game speed. You know, you can't just kind of toss one in there like you're warming up. You got to go ahead and let it go. Use the same delivery you'd use in the game. And he's wincing a little bit there. It just does not look real comfortable.
Head athletic trainer Nathan Lucero alongside Brad Mills, conferring with Brian Moeller. Well, Nate Lucero, Rex Jones, and some of the players were on the field earlier this morning with youngsters from 8 to 12 years old, about 50 people in 4 groups as a part of the Play campaign, sponsored by the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers. And they had a great time. Tim Burdack led one group. Bud Norris was here. Jason Bourgeois talking to the kids about physical fitness, being active. The Taylor Hooten Foundation was involved. They had a bunch of different stations the kids could go to and hear all about how to get in shape. Moeller's fastest pitch has been 86. Fastball's been a little bit lower than that so far tonight. He's staying in with a 1-2 count. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. 246 for the Pirates and Cubs, and the Astros are lower at 237, but this is with runners in scoring position. We were talking about overall average. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Casey Daigle has not pitched in a number of days. When he was sent back by the Astros to AAA Round Rock, he was the closer there and didn't have an opportunity to close a game for about 4 days, then called back up by the Astros and has not pitched since he came back. So Casey's getting loose. He was saying it's been, he said, about 10 days since he's pitched in a game, and he said, hey, that's the way it goes. I understand what's going on, and that's what somebody has to go through generally.
Yeah, it's interesting because as the closer at Round Rock, you know, there's a lot of priority given to when he works and keeping him sharp. And then when you become the long man at the big league level, you kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. And still battling through whatever that issue is.
Probably just trying to get through the inning. That's out into center field. Bourne retreating a little bit for the grab for the second out. Cedeno holding, and Tabata will be next. You know, a pitcher obviously works every 5th day, gets himself psyched up for that one day when he's on the mound and does not want to come out if it's something he thinks he can nurse, and he has been dealing with this for a few weeks now. But certainly, on the other hand, that injury can be aggravated by staying in.
Well, yeah, that would be the fear. If you press it and blow it out, you know, it could be a lengthy stint on the DL.
Now Jose Tabata, he hit a ground ball to shortstop earlier. And there's ball 1.
And sometimes, for whatever reason, you know, whether it's a groin, a hamstring, a low back issue, sometimes it'll bother you on one pitch, but not so much on another, because a lot of times with a breaking ball, you might shorten your stride a little bit. Trying to throw the ball to one side of the plate, you might open up a little bit further.
Two and 0 for Moeller.
Always a fear when a pitcher's dealing with an injury that he's going to put undue stress on his arm to try to protect whatever's barking.
Two balls and a strike. Moeller also has been getting stronger and stronger, and in his last 6 starts, his ERA has been 3.86. The Astros have won 4 of his last 6 starts. He's thrown 49 pitches so far. 3 balls and a strike. game at Texas 7-4, allowing the hard-hitting Rangers 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Lost a game here to Texas despite giving up just 1 hit in 6 innings and 2 runs. That one did not look good coming out of his hand, and it goes as ball 4. First walk of the game.
Right, and that's the other factor. You've got a team in that Astros dugout that has had a hard time scoring runs this year. So Brad Mills, Brian Mueller talked his way into staying in this game, and Millsy, probably had a deference to Mueller's veteran status and a solid upright guy. Probably, all right, I'm going to give you a chance to finish this inning, but. And if he's scuffling out there because of the injury and Walker knocks one into the seats and all of a sudden you're down 3-1, you might end up losing the game.
Walker puts it in the air, and the shortstop Sanchez is calling.
Answers that.
Moeller gets through the 3rd with no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. It's 1-0 Astros. Department of Transportation, and by Salt in theaters July 23rd. It has been gushing in this area. There's a flood warning out extending through tomorrow night. Nathan Lucero and Brian Mueller talk over the situation. Things not quite right with Brian. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Gustavo Chacin is warming up now. And it's Michael Bourne in the batter's box. He grounded to shortstop in the 1st. Puts down a bunt, and it's foul for strike 1.
We talked about the importance of Sanchez getting that bunt down with 2 outs to get the lineup to turn over. And obviously the key now for Michael Bourne, if he can get on base, use his legs to work his way around the bases. And score a cheap run because of the bunt by Sanchez to keep that inning alive.
Brad Mills loved that 1st inning run last night with Bourne, Keppinger, and Berkman executing so well, and then Lee hitting a home run later. No balls, 2 strikes. And it's 1-2. That was a big trade involving McCutchen and tomorrow's starter, Ross Ohlendorf, coming from the Yankees to Pittsburgh, a multiplayer deal. That's flicked foul along with Jeff Karstens, another starter, and Tabata, the left fielder. They all came for Xavier Nady and Damaso Marte in that trade in July of 2008. And now McCutchen and Ohlendorf are in the starting rotation back to back. Bourne in the air to left field.
Page out of the Brian Mueller playbook right there.
Yes, it is. 1 out. Now it's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. And we'll show you a Keppinger blast to give him a 9-game hitting streak.
Just number 2 for Jeff. Great swing of the bat there.
3-hit game last night. So he has 4 consecutive hits now as he comes to the plate this time. 2 for extra bases. That one slips, and it's ball 1 upstairs for McCutchen. Brad Lincoln, Daniel McCutchen, and Ross Ohlendorf all earned their first victories of 2010 in consecutive games, the last time through the rotation. That was the second time in Major League history that it happened so late in a season. The other time, the 1908 Boston Red Sox, with Smokey Joe Wood, King Brady, and Doc McMahon.
Oh, it's Ed McMahon and Doc Severinsen.
Okay.
You got it wrong.
All right. Shortstop Cedeno. 2 outs.
We saw our Fox Tracks there. It's brought to you by Jexa Energy. That's where we track the pitches. Get a feel for the umpire strike zone. Get a feel for how the pitchers are trying to go after these hitters.
Berkman lined out to right in the first inning. McCutchen had one very rough start against Milwaukee in a 20-0 loss back in April. He gave up 6 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings.
If you don't have your A game against that club, it can turn ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, it can. Ball 1 to Berkman. Atlanta just got 6 in the top of the 6th inning at Philadelphia to take a 7-3 lead on the Phillies. It's 2-0.
Martin Prado with a couple of home runs now has 10. Matt Diaz, he's playing now with Jason Hayward on the DL, went deep. And the big fella Ryan Howard hit number 16 for the Phils.
Well, Charlie Manuel's been answering plenty of questions about why Joey Votto was left off the National League All-Star team. And he said, well, Howard's my guy. I'm going to take him. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, that's a tough position. Adrian Gonzalez certainly deserving. But Votto's got it. They got to find a way to get Votto on the team. He's been the best player in the National League in the first half.
Yeah, well, he might win that vote. He's leading in the vote by the fans.
And Heath Bell's been taken off. But that, well, I mean, he's already been assigned to the team. He's been named to replace Giovanni Gallardo.
Okay.
So I would guess even if Heath Bell were to win the vote, they would take whoever was second in the voting.
Good point. Berkman's jammed on that one, fouls it off the screen.
McCutchen showing something here. The first inning, boy, looked like he might get whacked around pretty good, but he's showing a little more life on his fastball and pretty good command. Now he's getting a little movement on his 2-seamer. And he just threw a good 4-seamer up and in on Lance. So he started and went away, and then that one right there up and in on his hands. Good pitching.
3-2 now to Berkman. Lance with 23 career home runs against the Pirates.
McCutchen likes to throw his changeup. Well, looks like they're going to go heater away. And didn't make it.
Missed by a wide margin. Berkman takes a 2-out walk. He's the club leader with 43 walks now.
You know, and Domet calling the fastball there. I just have the sense that McCutchen probably wanted to throw his changeup. He's a young pitcher, and most pitchers nowadays don't like to shake the catchers. Young guys almost never do.
Berkman aboard after the second walk for McCutchen. Now it's Carlos Lee. Jamie Moyer gave up 7 earnings and 5 1/3 in that Atlanta-Philadelphia game.
Jamie had been going along nicely.
Yes, he had.
Pitching well in the last 5 or 6 starts. Phillies in the market. They're looking for a pitcher.
Well, the Mets are looking for a pitcher. Strike 1 to Carlos Lee. Marlins just demoted Chris Volstad. Washington leads San Diego 6-3. They're in the top of the 7th in Washington. Adam Dunn has hit a pair of long balls to give him 19. Ian Desmond belted number 6. Adrian Gonzalez answered with his 17th, and Chris DeNorfia hit his first. Touch and misses, and the count goes to 1-1 on El Caballo. San Diego club is coming into some rough sledding there in Washington after pitching so well against the Astros. Ryan Zimmerman hit 2 homers last night, one off Luke Gregerson to win the game. That's out of here. Carlos Lee to the Landry's Crawford box is a 2-run shot. 2 homers in 2 games for El Caballo. He's heating up. 3-0 Astros as Lee goes deep for the 12th time to take over the club lead.
Well, we gave Lance an assist when Muller was pitching in the 3rd to McCutchen because he can get the bunt down. We'll give Lance an assist here, working that walk with 2 outs in front of El Caballo. That's why we talk so much about on base plus slugging. You draw walks, you hit the ball out of the ballpark, you're going to score a lot of runs. No doubt about it.
Nice finish by El Caballo. Banged it right off that sign. Now Hunter Pence follows. Back-to-back 2 home run games for the Astros. Pence looks at ball 1. That has not happened all that often this season for a club which is last in the National League in homers coming into this game tonight. So Lee starting to put together good swings after a nice month of June. It's 2-0. The Astros really have not had major problems scoring against the Pirate pitching staff. 25 runs in 4 games coming into this one. They won all 4. Beating the Pirates in 7 of their last 8 at Minute Maid Park, where they're 54-28 against Pittsburgh.
Coming home to face the Pirates, a good tonic after that 4-game set in San Diego where the Astros dropped 3 out of 4. The Astros enjoyed great success against the Pirates in this ballpark. The Pirate pitching far inferior to what the Padres trot out there. Speaking of pitching, we had Russ Springer on last night. Patty interviewed Russ out in the stands. Oh, he worked out today for the Astros.
That's what we heard.
Yeah.
Hunter Pence draws a walk. That's number 3 for McCutchen. Home run followed by a walk. We've seen that a few times this year. Joe Kerrigan has seen it a lot in his career, and he's on his way to the mound. 7 of 8 for the Astros here at Minute Maid against the Pirates, out hitting them 302 to 228. And a big difference in runs scored and in homers.
And tomorrow, Roy Oswalt goes for the Astros. He's got outstanding numbers in his career against the Buccos. Oswalt versus Ollendorf. Weekend features Bud Norris, Brett Myers, and Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros. Adam Wainwright, Jeff Suppan, and to be announced for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Astros have played the Cardinals well this year, 4-2 against St. Louis. Chris Johnson, the batter. He bounced out to 3rd earlier. Chris, among those players, very happy to be enjoying Major League life after those 3 a.m. wake-up calls from time to time for travel in the Pacific Coast League.
Travel, meal money, hotels.
Big incentive to stay, that's for sure. Fly ball left field. Tabata is running out of room, but he has room for the catch to end the 3rd inning. 2-run homer by El Caballo. 2 runs on 1 hit with a man left. The Astros lead 3-0.
3-0 in this one after the big bomb by Carlos Lee. Don't tell me the Astros don't have fans all over the globe, because we've got some fans here today from Moscow. Eric Blossom, his son Jack, Andrea and his wife Rose, all Houstonians. But you moved to Moscow?
Moved to Moscow about 7 years ago, yeah.
Just for business or?
For business. Yep.
Okay, and so your kids play baseball in Moscow, right?
Yeah, Little League in Moscow. That's right.
Andrea, what's that like?
It's really, really fun because, like, we get to play co-ed, and it's all international kids from 3 different schools, so it's really, really fun. We get to meet everybody, and it's just awesome.
That's neat. So you get to beat up on boys?
No, not really.
Oh, come on.
Oh, we're all friends. It's all cool.
Jack, you like it out there?
Yes, it's really fun.
It's great to have you guys back, and for coming all the way from Moscow. They've got to be collectively our progressive fans of the game. There you go, pal. Enjoy the game. Brownie, back up to you.
Aha, Bart. You found some folks.
They're probably from Moscow, Texas. Just pulling one on Bart. Just to be the progressive fan of the game.
Gustavo Chassin's first pitch is strike one to Garrett Jones. Lefty reliever coming in. In our Verizon call to the pen, he has thrown strike one to Jones, who singled in the second inning.
Strained right groin for Brian Moeller.
Well, unfortunately, that's an aggravation of an earlier injury.
The irony is, Brian's been pitching really well, but the Astros haven't scored many runs. So on a night where he's got a 3-run lead and look like he's going to be in shape, he obviously does not qualify for the win. You have to go 5 innings to do that. So perhaps Gustavo Chassin will be able to pick up a W here tonight. But a lot of baseball yet to be played.
Bouncer past a diving Berkman up the right field line. It kicks out to Hunter Pence. He might have a shot. Nope, had to go too far to get to that ball, and Jones is able to slide in ahead of that laser throw with a double.
He made it close.
He did.
Hunter did. And it's a tough read out there. You can't commit to the carom, because if the ball doesn't catch that little cutout area, it's going to roll all the way into the corner, and that would turn into an easy triple. So you have to kind of hold your position and wait, and Hunter does a nice job here, reacting quickly to the carom and coming up and making a good strong throw. So back-to-back leadoff doubles for the Pirates. Couldn't do anything with Cedeno's last inning. See if they can capitalize here.
18 doubles for Jones, 2 doubles for the Pirates tonight. Held their 4 hits, and now it's Alvarez. Alvarez bounced into a 4-6-3 double play in the second inning. Chassin got his first win as an Astro in Milwaukee on the last road trip, June 28th. In fact, that was his first major league win since 07 against Boston when he was a Blue Jay in April of that year. 1-0 to Alvarez. Moeller leaving with the strained right groin through 52 pitches. 33 were strikes. Pirates order set up to face a right-hander. Now the lefty reliever comes in, and it's 1-1. Chassin is facing Pittsburgh for the first time in his career. This is with a breaking ball to go to 2-1 in the count. His last outing was the loss in the 1-0 Astros loss at San Diego on Saturday night. His own error figuring into an unearned run being charged to him. In 2/3 of an inning, he came in with the score 0-0 in the 8th. Very difficult loss for him. Gave up a looping double. 3-1.
Alvarez from last night off Wandy Rodriguez had a difficult time keeping his front side in. Wanted to throw him that breaking pitch. Kind of pulling that front shoulder out and then taking some feeble swings. He does have a quick bat and a lot of promise. And folks in Pittsburgh and a lot of folks who follow the prospects think this guy's going to be a star, big time star in the major leagues. Outstanding high school player, great career at Vanderbilt. Strong lower unit, very strong, big thighs.
In the dirt to him. Snap throw to second, and the runner gets back. It was ball 4 to Alvarez. And now runners are at first and second with nobody out. Ryan Domet the batter. Chacin is in some trouble right from the outset. Domet singled in the second inning.
And Chacin gets the nod here. Well, one, because he's a long man, too, but he was a good fit because of the Pirate lineup with the left-handed bats and the switch hitters. Don't take your eye off cue if you're a base runner.
The Astros would love a pickoff here. Domet, the switch hitter, now turning around. He's a 187 right-handed batter, 297 left. Lines it to right field. A one hopper to Hunter Pence. And the go ahead for the runner to score. The throw gets by Jeff Keppinger. Backed up by Chacin, and it's now 3-1 on the RBI single by Domet. Jones scoring, Alvarez stopping at second. Pirates get something stirred up here. They were unhappy that they got one run and only 4 hits last night.
And despite hitting less than 200 from the right side, Domet able to deliver there. Hunter didn't have a whole lot of momentum coming into that play as he fielded it. An errant throw did not hurt.
That was in that 4th inning last night. They scored only 1 run on the 4 singles, left the bases loaded. They had them loaded with 1 out. Ryan Church struck out in the second inning.
Yeah, they hit 2 or 3 of those balls, kind of semi-line drives that base runners couldn't go on because they weren't sure if they were going to fall in or not. Had to go station to station.
It's 0-2. Chacin made Church look bad on that swing. Pirates came from behind on Sunday. They trailed the Phillies 5-2 and put together a 6-run rally to win that game. They drew some nice crowds at PNC Park for that series against their in-state rivals. One ball, 2 strikes for Chacin. The Astros are just entering a stretch of 27 straight games against the clubs in the National League Central. They are 16-12 for the best, second best record within the division so far. Church has been stopped by lefties to the tune of 129. This one heads for the gap in left center field. Alvarez scoring. Domet is coming to third, and Tony Beasley's going to send the potential tying runner to the plate, and he will score to make it 3-3 on a 2-run double by Church. Pirates come back and still have nobody out with 3 runners home in the inning.
You know, best laid plans, right? I mean, Chacin, the lefty, comes in, faces 2 lefties, a switch hitter who's much worse from the right side than another lefty who has really struggled, as Browning mentioned, against left-handed pitching, but all 4 of them reach. Double, walk, single, a double. Good at-bats by the Pirates here in the 4th. And we got a ball game, all knotted up at 3.
6 hits for the Buccos. Ronnie Cedeno, the number 8 hitter, is ready to bat next after Church's 10th double of the year, giving him 16 runs batted in now. There is warm-up action for the Astros in the bullpen here in the 4th. Chacin first came up in May when Tim Burdack was on the disabled list. Then he was recalled after going to AAA Round Rock in late May when Bud Norris was disabled. There's a fake throw to second by Quintero. And the pitch to Cedeno, who was showing bunt. Ball 1. Detroit leads at home over Baltimore 4-1. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Michael Bourne heads back into right center field for this long drive. Bourne on the run, snags it, bangs into the bullpen wall, and Church cannot advance on the spectacular running catch by Bourne.
Wow. One more time, wow. Standing ovation. Absolutely. He went a long way, folks, to get that one. Ronnie Cedeno got a little juice in that bat. Doubled last time in a bid for extra bases here. Looked for sure like that ball was going to get down, and Michael just never gave up on it, kept chugging. That's why he's an all-star.
And Matt Lindstrom is trying to keep him from breaking through that fence into the Astros bullpen. Lindstrom's eyes got big as Bourne closed on his position. Now McCutchen. Casey Daigle's warming up. There's strike one to McCutchen.
And with all of that, Ryan Church still should have tagged up and gone to third base. He just got caught assuming that Bourne wouldn't be able to run that ball down. That's an important 90 feet if he could have gotten to third base with one out.
Yes, it is.
You have to feel, as a base runner there, that ball, as deep as it was hit, if you're just a couple of steps off second, you're going to score if he doesn't catch it.
Yep.
You know, you don't need to be a halfway, a third of a way. You can be real close to the bag, even beyond the bag.
0-2. Chacin trying to keep this game tied. Andrew McCutchen's on deck. Back-to-back McCutchens in the lineup here.
But I'm with you, Ryan Church. I watch him play every day, and I still wasn't sure he was going to run that one down.
Yeah. He had a long run for that ball. It looked like double or triple. The way Cedeno runs, probably triple if he doesn't catch it. So that's the only out Chacin has. He gets out of this with the ball game tied. He might want to take Michael to lunch on the next road trip. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, where we go? He could take him to Permane Brothers for a sandwich with fries on it.
Yeah. Unusual bit of fare that we can find in the Strip District in Pittsburgh. Late swing, and McCutchen strikes out. That's out number 2. Now the other McCutchen.
No relation.
This McCutchen swings it a little bit better. He is 0 for 2 in this game. By the way, Neil Walker of the Pirates was telling me about the Roberto Clemente Museum in Pittsburgh. It's pretty new. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
We might have to make a trip over there. It's in the Strip District, not far from our hotel.
Over by the Andy Warhol Museum then?
Probably, past those restaurants. Okay. Said it's in an old church, and it's very well done. A lot of great photos.
Tabatau's got a Roberto Clemente tattoo on his chest.
Oh, didn't know that. A 3-3 ball game here. The Astros led until the Pirates have tied it here in the top of the 4th. Smack to center field. Bourne turning the other way, and he got there for the 3rd out. A win in trouble. Let Michael Bourne take over in center field. That works for Chacin. After the Pirates tie it with 3 runs on 3 hits, they strand a runner at second. It's tied 3-3.
The Astros take on the Cardinals at 6:05, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Mike Scott bobblehead courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. Come early to get your bobblehead, then enjoy the 2010 Bayou Bash from 4 to 6. Purchase the event voucher and enjoy a Cajun celebration like guarantee. Visit Astros.com/Bayou for tickets. Guys, back to you.
Well done, Bart. Do you know Wade LeBlanc? There is a strike one as Quintero tried to bunt his way on.
Get out your fiddle and kick off your shoes.
Hugh struck out in the second. He's 0 for his last 21. And McCutchen snaps one off for an 0-2 count now to Quintero. Sanchez on deck. Pitcher spot due up third with bullpen action going for the Astros. Chacin would be due to bat third in the inning.
Got to take a mulligan on a hello I forgot to deliver last night to Felina Vasquez. Had surgery yesterday, and her Uncle Jesse and Aunt Carmen were at the ball game last night. Wanted to wish her well, so Sugar Coops, maybe she's watching again tonight. Get well soon.
Absolutely. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You haven't taken a mulligan all summer. About time you took one.
I take a first team mulligan. I'll take a backside mulligan. I'll take a provisional mulligan.
Cedeno goes at Quintero.
Those guys in front of us made us wait too long. Mulligan.
Yeah.
This day in Astros history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. 1966, the Astros leave for a 12-game road trip. The grounds crew at the Dome replaces the outfield sod with an artificial turf, and that was known as AstroTurf.
And Leo DeRocher got the green painted dirt shipped to him. I don't know what he did with that. Angel Sanchez dropped down a bunt. That went for a single. There is strike one.
Dick Allen didn't like it. He said if the horse can't eat it, I don't want to play on it.
Pedro Feliz is in the on-deck circle. Chacin due up, but the Astros are preparing to pinch hit and go to the bullpen in this 3-3 game.
Oh, see, DeRocher was very critical of the new surface. So that's why the green dirt was shipped to Leo. He was the manager of the Cubs.
And the later manager of the Astros, there's a strike. 0-2. Not the most popular one, certainly in club history.
He was an irascible sort.
Yeah. Foul ball keeps the count at no balls, 2 strikes. Minnesota leads at Toronto. It's 5-4 in the middle of the 7th inning for the Twins. Jose Bautista has belted a 22nd home run for the Blue Jays. That's one that just doesn't compute with a lot of us. That's hit to right field. Church is back. 2 outs.
Yeah, well, we saw him with the Pirates. He was here for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years apart, 3 or 4 years, and at times would show some decent power, but nothing what he's done the first half of this year.
No. Already hit more in the first half of this year than he's ever hit in any full season. Pedro Feliz is the pinch hitter.
3-run top of the 4th provides new life for Daniel McCutchen, and he is taking advantage here. 2 quick outs as he faces Pedro.
Well, Pedro got a start in that series in San Diego. And he went 0 for 4 in that game Sunday. The Astros lost that one 3-2. I was asking Brad Mills about that start Pedro got because Chris Johnson had gone 3 for 3 at third base the night before. And he explained it very well. There's ball 1. One of his reasons was that Feliz had good numbers against the starting pitcher that day, who happened to be Wade LeBlanc. And another reason was that he needs to play some. He needs to stay sharp. He doesn't want him sitting for extended periods of time. Foul ball back. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, some managers go with the hot hand theory. Chris Johnson 3 for 3 the night before. Chris has had a couple of 4-hit games. Brad Mills pointed out, well, if you look at his game-by-game log, you see that quite often after a multi-hit game, he doesn't get any hits the next day. So he had checked that out.
Better not have any multi-hit games. Yeah. The lesson to be learned there. You go 3 for 3, just pop up.
So he doesn't just do things on a whim. He has several reasons usually. He explains his moves.
Yeah, and then when you talk to hitters, it's interesting because some hitters they really get upset if they've been swinging it well and they have a big game and they're not in there the next day. I've talked to Lance Berkman. He said, sometimes depending on the matchup, you'd like to have that day off. You kind of sit on that when you had a real good game and that. I think that depends on the next day's starting pitcher. But I think the bottom line is Brad Mills' philosophy, not just with the situation with Feliz and Johnson, it's with all his players. He realizes that his bench guys need to play. And he's trying to keep everybody involved.
Feliz is 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter. Trying to reach here with a 3-2 count with 2 outs in the inning.
And bigger picture, if they keep Pedro involved and he gets hot and starts to swing a little bit, you might be able to trade him.
Yeah.
If you're committed to Johnson.
Deep drive to center. McCutchen way back, and he got it right up against that sign. He barely had room to stick the glove up. And Rob Feliz, it looked like that one might be off the padding. But the glove went up and snagged it just in time to keep this game scoreless. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, by AT&T, and by Gullo Automotive. It's been a very rainy night in Houston inside. Game has proceeded, and that's what all baseball people like. The rain has not prevented them from the pregame workout, batting practice leading up to this one. Now the game continues on schedule, and pitcher number 3, Casey Daigle, comes in. He's 0-1 with the Astros with an 8.10 ERA for 6 2/3 innings, and he has not pitched since he last pitched for Round Rock on June 25th. That's 12 days ago, JD.
And down at Round Rock, 1-1 with a 2.84 ERA, 7 saves in 21 games. Obviously has not had a lot of work at the big league level this year, but an opportunity to contribute now. Shashin, first man out of the pen, struggled, gave up those 3 runs. Perhaps Casey can give the Astros a couple scoreless here. Feliz hit the pitcher spot in the bottom half of the 4th, so Casey could stay in there for 2-3 innings perhaps.
His last outing with the Astros came here on Sunday, June 20th. He lost to the Texas Rangers in the 10th inning, giving up 1 run in 2/3 of an inning. So no doubt very anxious to get back in, and coming in to be perhaps the pitcher with the decision tonight, entering this game tied with Tabata leading it off in the 5th inning. He is grounded out and walked. Daigle in those games at Round Rock JD talked about with 7 saves in 21 games. Pitching well at the end of ball games. Now comes in the 5th. His wife Jenny and son Ace watching as he goes to work.
Nervous watching Dad, a little anxious.
Strike to top of top. Yeah, Casey was very understanding about the situation of why he has not pitched. And, he said that's just what happens sometimes in the big leagues. You just have to wait for your opportunity. And now he's getting it. And getting a ground ball over Johnson, and Sanchez really no chance. Loop the throw over to first base. An infield hit for Tabata.
The Pirates have the leadoff man reach in 4 consecutive innings now. Leadoff single second, leadoff doubles in the third and fourth. Now this infield knock for Tabata.
He runs pretty well. Neil Walker, the batter. Neil has struck out and popped a short. Tabata has 6 steals in 8 tries. The arm of Quintero has to be factored in as well.
Run at your peril, Mr. Tabata.
Strike 1 for Walker. Chatting with Neil before the game about his father Tom, who, like Neil, was a first-round draft choice. Tom drafted in the early 70s by the Orioles. Tom once pitched a 15-inning minor league no-hitter. He smacks the liner to right field. Hunter Pence over, reaches up. Wow. That ball had some crazy English on it for out number 1.
That ball was still on the way up when Hunter caught it. That ball was smoked.
AT&T has some trivia for us tonight. Pirates manager John Russell caught what American League pitcher's no-hitter in 1990 with the Texas Rangers? You'll get it.
That's a hanging slider there. I could hit that one.
John Russell watching Garrett Jones is 2 for 2, a single and a double, and the pickoff throw goes over to first. Left-handed hitter, and he has that hole on the right side of the infield with the base runner there at first base. Double play situation for the Astros.
A lot of times in a situation like this, when they're playing for 2 in the middle, the first baseman will slide aggressively off the bag to help plug the hole a little bit, but Jones whacked that double right down the first base line last time up. Daigle's not an overpowering pitcher, so there's a good chance Jones will pull him. So Lance is staying pretty close to home as the pitch is being delivered. He's coming off the bag, but not far.
Jones takes a breaking pitch. It's 1-1 to Garrett, who played more than 1,000 games in the minors, and then when he got his major league shot hit, 21 homers in his first 84 games. A pretty intriguing guy.
Yeah, that's one big I told you so right there. Told you I could play up here.
Pirates brought him up last July 1st.
He was with the Twins, so he was kind of stuck behind Morneau over there. Pretty good outfielders as well.
He said deep down he knew he could play the game. He spent those 10.5 seasons with the Braves and Twins systems. Just a 31-game cup of coffee with Minnesota in 07 in the big leagues. Had never seen an opening day until he got one in Pittsburgh this year. In the major leagues, that is. And the Pirates now are really counting on this 29-year-old veteran from Harvey, Illinois.
Yeah, he's a young player and a veteran all at the same time. Because all the time you put in the minor leagues. Been around the game a long time, just not a lot of big league experience.
He was hospitalized actually earlier this year in Los Angeles briefly when food became lodged in his esophagus. And he had to have an inpatient procedure performed to dislodge a piece of beef which he ate in the visiting clubhouse. Had to go under general anesthetic for that procedure.
That's how Henry Knox died.
Really?
Yeah, the Secretary of War, Henry Knox, for I think it was George Washington, Secretary of War. He died choking on a chicken bone. Imagine that you accomplish all those great things in your career as big statesman,
Yeah.
Secretary of War, and you choke on a chicken bone.
Wow. 3-2 with one out. Runner going. And it's foul. Well, Garrett Jones came up last July, and he led the majors in that month with 10 home runs in July last year. And the last Pirate to lead the majors in homers for 1 month was Willie Stargell.
I was going to guess Willie Stargell.
Okay, you got it. And you talked about chicken. Well, Bob Prince was the broadcaster for the Pirates much of the time that Willie Stargell was there. And I think his home run call when Willie would hit one was Chicken on the Hill, because Willie owned some fast food chicken restaurants.
Oh, did he give away free chicken?
I think they did. When he hit a home run, they gave away free chicken at his restaurant.
I like it.
Runner going. Swing and a miss. Quintero's throw and on into center field. Sanchez got tangled up a little bit with a runner. And it's a stolen base for Tabata. And then the error on Quintero's throw. But Sanchez was trying to snatch that ball out of the air and make the tag, and he didn't catch it.
Shooting for that strikeout, throw out, double play, and the ball sails on cue in towards the base runner. I thought for a minute there it was going to hit Tabata on the coconut, and that would have been ugly. Sanchez reaching across. We got the base runner coming in on him. That could have been real ugly.
Yes. And his glove hand got tangled up with Tabata sliding. So that spun him around a little bit. Now runner at third for Alvarez. There's the block by Quintero.
Probably not significant as long as Q can keep anything in the dirt in front of him during this at bat.
That was the fourth error on Quintero this year. Tabata getting his 7th steal. Chris Sampson windmilling in the bullpen.
Nice to know if you're Brad Mills that you've got Roy Oswalt going to the mound tomorrow in a game like this where Brian Mueller had to come out due to injury after just 3 innings. So a lot of coverage for the bullpen in this game. Brad comforted by the fact that he's got Roy Oswalt going tomorrow.
Oswalt and Ohlendorf matching up at 105. Daigle throws a strike. Alvarez looking at it, and it's 2-1 to Pedro. Quite a hitting star at Vanderbilt. And Brad Mills' starting pitchers had really done well with a 1.13 ERA for the previous 6 games. Brian Mueller lowered that with his 3 innings of work tonight. Shutout ball before he left with a groin injury.
Well, with this guy and David Price at Vanderbilt, the scouts must have been all over that place.
Yeah. I believe Price is pitching tonight, in fact, for Tampa Bay. Yes, and he has a 6-2 lead at home over Boston after 7 as he shoots to become the American League leader in wins with 11. Mike Cameron hit his 2nd for Boston. Evan Longoria number 13 for the Rays. Alvarez takes a walk. Now it'll be Doman with runners at first and third. Back to that slam dunk trivia question. John Russell catching the no-hitter in 1990 for what pitcher? Nolan Ryan. One of 7 no-hitters he authored. And he was remembering when we were in Arlington, he remembered the one he pitched here in '81 for the Astros. That was September 26th that year in a tight pennant race. So a very meaningful game to win, let alone no hit the Dodgers. And he remembered an excellent catch by Terry Poole in right center field.
TP.
Yep.
He could do it. Well, Nolan just missed one on this date in '91. Dave Winfield broke one up in the 8th inning against him. Would have been his 8th no-hitter.
Doman's 2 for 2 with an RBI.
That was the year of the no-hitter. 1990, 1991. There were 7 no-hitters pitched each of those 2 seasons. Wow. That's the record. See how this year plays out.
Well, the way things are going right now, offense has dipped to just about 9 runs per game on the average in the majors. If that figure holds, this would be the first season with a per game average under 9 since '92. At that same time you're talking about, roughly. 1-1. So those are the numbers here at the halfway point of the season. And just dominant pitching. At the end of last week, 15 pitchers were in very good shape and on pace for 20-win seasons. In the last 6 years, there have been 12 20-game winners, period, in the majors. Upstairs, Domit spins out of there, and it's 2-1.
Domit with the RBI single last time. That at bat, he was batting right-handed against Gustavo Chacin. He's much better from this side of the plate.
Cleveland leads at Texas. It's 3-1 Indians. Middle of the 5th inning. Mitch Talbot is on the mound. And Jason Nix has hit his 6th home run for the Tribe. Now it's 3-1 for Casey Daigle. He really needs to come up with a pitch with Church on deck or face the bases loaded situation. 3-3 game with the Pirates leading in hits 7-3. Casey, 29 years old, from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Went to high school at Sulphur, Louisiana. Bases are loaded. With a single and a couple of walks. There was a blistering line drive hit by Walker. So Daigle trying to do the escape act after all this rust over not pitching the last 12 days. He'll try to get Church. Church with the 2-run double to left center, and the 4th is 1 for 2. And it's difficult for a reliever who hasn't pitched in almost 2 weeks. Shady really can't go out and throw in the bullpen because he has to be ready to pitch in any given game.
Yeah, it just depends on the role you're in. You know, if you're a long man, and Casey obviously wasn't doing that down at AAA, but his role here is a little bit differently. So a lot of times what will happen is you'll be available, and then once you get past a certain inning, you get up and get some work in. But it just doesn't replicate what you do in a game situation. No matter how much you throw in the bullpen, it's not the same as being on the mound in live action.
He was warming up last night, and he said he was going to come in if the Astros had scored some more runs. He just threw strike one. That could be a key to getting Church.
And that's a situation you hope to have, to be in a lopsided game, 7-1 game in the late innings. Hey, we need to get Casey some work and work him in that way. But you didn't have that option.
Now it's 0-2 for Casey Daigle. Astros relievers have 13 wins and 8 losses, hoping that Daigle can keep this game tied and send it to the top of the order. Bourne, Keppinger, and Berkman in the bottom of the 5th.
A small but spirited crowd here tonight on the rally around Casey. One pitch away from getting out of this mess.
1-2. They braved the elements. It was really pouring out there for a long time.
Starts with that split finger grip. And he'll come off of it. He wants to throw his breaking ball or fastball.
Just staying alive. Church fouls it. The Giants are just clobbering Milwaukee 11-1 in the 4th inning. Tim Lincecum has tons of run support. Home runs from Andres Torres, number 5. Aubrey Huff, number 16. Buster Posey has hit 2 to give him 5. And Milwaukee got number 15 from Ricky Weeks.
That's a week's worth of runs for the Giants.
It is.
They'll score that much.
Swing and a miss, and that's a big one. Jenny can applaud. The bases loaded strikeout by her husband. Casey Daigle gets out of the 5th inning with no runs, 1 hit. 1 error, 3 men left. It's still tied 3-3. hot. Josh Hamilton has a 26-game hitting streak at home in Arlington. Rafael Furcal is hitting .462 since June 24th. Wandy Rodriguez 3-0 with a 0.90 ERA. CC Sabathia is 3-0, but he can't match Wandy's ERA. Joaquin Soria is 7-for-7 in saves.
June 23rd, those guys were all scuffling. Since June 24th. On fire.
Now the baseball is being examined by Jeff Nelson.
He's been doing that a lot tonight.
I wonder what's going on.
Oh.
Tossed another one out to Daniel McCutchen. And McCutchen in a 3-3 game goes back to work. Bottom of the 5th inning. He needs to go 5 to qualify for the win. He's due to bat second in the 6th inning. And in a tie game, he faces Michael Bourne, who's 0 for 2. Ball 1.
The way this game started, John Russell probably had concerns that he'd be able to get McCutchen through 5 innings tonight. Second batter of the game, Keppinger hit a home run. Lance Berkman came up behind him, hit a tee to right field. McCutchen settled in, hung in there, gave up the 2-run home run to El Caballo, finds himself in a tie game.
2 balls, 1 strike. McCutchen pitched 3 times in April, then he was demoted to the minors. At Indianapolis, he's made 10 starts this season with an ERA of 3.86. As a major league pitcher on the road this season, 0-2, his ERA 11.32. So if he could win a game tonight in these circumstances, it might be very meaningful for him. He gets a strikeout for out number 1. Third strikeout for McCutchen.
Been a big key for him. He's been able to keep Michael off base. 0 for 3 tonight. A little 911 emergency hack there. Didn't quite get a piece.
Keppinger ripped that homer in the 1st inning, then he grounded out in the 3rd. Jeff takes and it's ball 1. St. Louis 3, Colorado nothing. They're in the bottom of the 4th at Coors Field with Jaime Garcia shutting out the Rockies. Aaron Cook started for the Rockies. It's 1-1.
Cardinals better have a 10-run lead tonight in the 9th.
And Ryan Franklin really gave it up in the 9th inning last night. Tabata in left field moves in. 2 outs. It'll be Lance Berkman trying to break this tie. He hit that wicked liner to right, and he walked and scored. Our Jack in the Box standings will show you the active leaders and career runs batted in against the Buccos. Albert Pujols is the leader, followed by Scott Rowland. Then it's Derek Lee. Lance Berkman is 4th with 98. Why not make it an even 100? Can't do that this at bat. There are plenty more games between these clubs this year. There's strike 1.
Now, right after the All-Star break, the Astros go to Pittsburgh. And then on to Chicago.
All the way, and it's 0-2.
For the most part, they've been staying away from Lance tonight. Their fastballs away, and then occasionally up and in with a 4-seamer.
It's 1-2 to Lance.
McCutchen shading a little bit towards the alley in left center, giving him more room in right center field.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Cubs are underway at Arizona. No score, top of the 1st. Ryan Dempster pitching for Chicago tonight. It's a full count to Berkman.
Lance taking those inside fastballs like he knew they were coming.
Yep. He really knows the strike zone. He's taken a lot of pitches just in off the plate this year. This one to left field. Tabata turns and he reached it. A go-ahead homer for Berkman. Another one to the Landry's Crawford boxes. 2 and 2 nights for Lance Berkman. This one makes it 4-3. 99 career runs batted in against the Buccos.
Just great recognition there, knowing what they're trying to do. The fastball's in. He would not offer at. Kind of looking middle of the way throughout that at bat. That's where they had pitched him for the most part there. That's why I think McCutcheon was shading towards left center. Last night, Lance hit a little pop-up into the corner of the Crawford boxes for a home run. Doesn't exactly scald this one either. Home sweet home.
Now Carlos Lee sends a line drive to left field. Tabata over. And in the 5th inning, the Astros grab the lead again. It's Berkman's home run, his 10th of the year, giving him 41 runs batted in, making it 4-3 Astros after 5. Coors Light freeze cam showing you Michael Bourne. We have to freeze him. He's so fast. He just won't stop moving. He had a long run to make that excellent catch on Cedeno's ball in the 4th inning. The Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by the Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Astros have 3 homers in a game for the first time since June 3rd when they belted 3 in a 6-4 win here over Washington. And now Casey Daigle goes back out. He could be the winning pitcher. He leads it 4-3 facing Cedeno. Cedeno double before the Bourne catch on him.
And when Michael made that catch, Ryan Church was on second base. There was nobody out. One would have scored. Cedeno likely makes it to third. He would have been standing there with nobody out. That's a tough run to prevent. So maybe a two-run turnaround by that play from Michael.
Daigle throws inside. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Brad Mills certainly relying on his good defensive play in center field to stop that 4th inning rally, keep the game tied. Then Daigle getting out of 5th inning bases loaded trouble, striking out Church, now trying to squeeze one more inning out of Casey. Tap slowly to short. Sanchez in. Quick throw to Berkman. Gets the speedy Cedeno. 1 out. In a game like this, that could be important if Daigle can give him a couple more outs in this game. And now it looks like the pinch hitter's coming up for McCutcheon. Andy LaRoche, formerly at third base, has been playing some second recently. And now coming up in this pinch hitting assignment for McCutcheon. He had made 4 straight starts at second when Walker was out. He's 2 for 8 with an RBI, a couple doubles as a pinch hitter. He made 49 starts at third base. Bullpen action for the Pirates. LaRoche has hit only 157 in the last 20 games. DJ Carrasco, who pitched last night, is warming up. And there's a strike. Well, both managers are a little stretched into those bullpens. Carrasco worked the 6th inning in last night's game. And it's Tim Burdack warming up for Houston. Roach bounces one, and that's foul.
Astros had an automobile sale today before batting practice.
Yeah.
Bud Norris's car was being offered up for sale out there on the warning track at center field. Tim Burdack drove it out there. There it is. Put a for sale sign on it. I think they were asking $100 for it. And Bud had no idea that his car was going to be out there. The boys giving him a hard time.
Well, they're really looking that car over. Surely there would have been a buyer for $100. This car is worth much more than $100. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So what was the outcome? Did he part with that automobile? Do you know?
No, they were just dogging him. And I told Tim that Burdack and brought it out there, and I said, well, you should go to Bud and say we're auctioning it off for charity. And all encouraging Bud to get some new wheels.
It's 2-2. Haven't seen that type of an approach. The automobile out there on the warning track before during workouts, but it'd been interesting to see what happened if they left it out there for the game, wouldn't it? Could have a center fielder hurtling over the car on his way back to make a great catch.
Yeah, we could come up with some kind of an angle there. When you're a kid playing out in the street, you had to overcome some obstacles.
That's right. This fly ball hangs a long time, and Carlos Lee moves in. 2 outs. Roche retired, and now Daigle gets the first 2 here in the 6th inning and moves along to the leadoff man, McCutchen. McCutchen is one of 5 different #1 draft choices by the Pirates currently on their active roster. Paul Maholm in 03, Neil Walker in 04, McCutchen in 05, Brad Lincoln in 06, and Pedro Alvarez in 08. They're the only team that can make that claim. And they also have 2 other players currently in the majors who were drafted in the 1st round by the Pirates, Jason Kendall and Sean Burnett. Strike to McCutchen, so there is that 1st round success the Pirates have had. Doman a 2nd round.
And they had a real long run of failure, especially with their pitchers. They had a lot of top pitchers, guys that they've taken at the top of the draft, whether incompetence or injury. A lot of times it's just injuries. Guys never reach the big leagues. And so they had a lot of drafts blow up on them. And when you're in the Pirates and you're doing all that losing, obviously you can't afford to have that happen. They were in a position because they had so many bad years where they were able to pick at the top of the draft. But saw very few of those guys come to the big leagues until this current crop. And that's why now they're optimistic they have all these high ceiling players together here. And they're hoping they kind of come together all at once.
Liner to left, a hit for McCutchen. 6-game hitting streak for Andrew. He's aboard for Tabata, and he might be running. He has 20 steals in 26 attempts.
Hit the ball on the screws last time up, and a line drive right to Michael Bourne. This time he yanks it to left, a little bit of a hanging slider, it looked like.
Tabata walked in the 3rd and reached on an infield hit in the 5th. Stole a base, advanced as far as 3rd, but then Casey Daigle got tough. He's thrown 37 pitches in this game. Daniel McCutchen, the Pirates starter, threw 84 pitches, 51 of them strikes. He worked 5 innings, allowing 4 hits, 4 runs, walking 3 and fanning 3.
He's now given up 10 home runs this year in 28 in the 3rd major league innings.
Strike to Tabata. Cincinnati won at Citi Field in New York over the Mets 3-1. Bronson Arroyo picked up win number 9 of the year against 4 losses. with a save from Francisco Cordero, his 24th. The loser was John Neese. He's 6-3. Low throw. Berkman keeps it there close by as McCutcheon goes back in. And the first base umpire, Mark Carlson, takes a look at it, throws it out. 77%. That's a good ratio for McCutcheon. Berkman saved a base there by blocking that low throw. Angel Pagano hit his 6th home run for the Mets. Brandon Phillips, number 12, and Chris Heisey, number 5 for the Reds. Now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Casey Daigle pitched for Round Rock last year. 49 games there for Casey. He'd been in the big leagues with Arizona in 04, 06.
McCutcheon certainly with the speed to steal the base. Q can help shut down the running game. The other thing John Russell will consider, of course, is how he feels like his hitters stack up against Casey Daigle here. Casey struggled through that last inning. He does not have overpowering stuff. Russell's got 2, 3, 4 up. If they can keep things rolling. A lot of times, if you just feel like your hitters are better than the guy on the mound, then you don't want to take too many chances with the running game. Now that it's 1 and 2, that may change a little bit.
That's Gary Varsho in front of John Russell. Varsho, former Major League outfielder with several clubs, including the Pirates. That throw off Berkman's mitt trickles away.
Breaking in a new glove down there.
Don't know.
Got a goat head in there or something?
He might. Looking in there right now. Looks like an older glove. Line to right field. Hunter Pence over toward right center for the grab. To end the 6th inning, and Daigle completes his 2nd shutout frame. Maintains a 4-3 lead.
Che fiebre hai!
Every full price adult ticket you purchase in the outfield or view deck sections, you can get up to 2 free tickets for kids 14 and under. Kids can also earn rewards for coming to Astros game with the Kids Passport program. Go to Astros.com for tickets and more information. Brownie, back to you.
Looks like those kids got a passport and they're having a great time. Thank you, Bart. It's a good program. Kids free all summer. In this 4-3 game, the reliever is DJ Carrasco. McCutcheon went the first 5. We gave you the numbers on him. Carrasco last night went 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, no runs. JD.
Yeah, he features little sidearm Laredo action from time to time. He was originally drafted and signed by the Baltimore Orioles, was released by them, picked up by the Indians. They let him go.
Hunter Pence with a deep drive, left center field, sends it high and hangs one above the yellow line. A home run for Hunter Pence, number 4 for the Astros tonight. It's his 12th of the year, and the Astros lead it now 5-3.
Little breathing room, always nice, especially when it comes with one swing of the bat. We talk about small ball and advancing runners and doing all the little things, but those big things, they really pay off. Don't leave that slider in the strike zone. You will pay.
That's a new high for the Astros. 4 homers in one game. Now Chris Johnson toward the right field corner. And on the run, Church snags it. Excellent play. Looked like a double perhaps for Johnson, but instead it's out number 1.
And nice break on the ball by Ryan Church. He's a good outfielder. This ball slicing away from him a little bit, but able to finish it off before it gets down.
Carrasco's got 2 pretty well hit balls in the air and faces Quintero now. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a bounce out. Washington held off San Diego 7-6. The Nationals winning. J.D. Martin notching his first win of the year over John Garland. Garland did not throw the ball well against the Astros Friday night. He's now 8-6. Matt Capps got his 23rd save. It's 1-1. Adam Dunn wound up with 3 long balls in that game, giving him 20. One and 2 to Quintero. Even though the home run totals are rather modest for the leaders in Major League Baseball to this point of a season, there's some guys who can put up numbers in a hurry, and Adam Dunn's one of those. Quintero's down on strikes. And Bart has wandered far from us. Bart?
Thanks, Greg. You know, we were talking a moment ago about kids coming to the ballpark this summer. We got a lot of kids in the ballpark today, and they're in uniform because they're in town for a tournament that's going on. But some 7-year-olds, some 8-year-olds. I got a team out here from Katy, the Katy Scorpions. Greg Jones is their coach. Talk about what you guys are doing this week.
We're in here for this tournament. It's a World Series, double elimination. Get a lot of games in for the kids in a short period of time. A lot of playing, a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So coming here and enjoying a great game, seeing how the game's done right when they get a little bit older than the 7 and 8.
Well, before tonight's game, you guys were down on the warning track here in right field, about 20 feet from where the pros were warming up. That's pretty neat for your kids.
Oh, it's great down there. So you can see how big the field really is and how big the players are. You don't quite see it from up here, but they're a lot bigger than that, and that was really neat for the kids.
So you guys are supposed to be back on the field starting tomorrow, right?
Starting tomorrow, we'll be back out. Yeah, tomorrow, the elimination game starts. So.
Well, I've seen the forecast. I don't like your chances, Greg.
Yeah, we'll hope to get some in, but if they don't, we'll just move it back one day and play the rest of the week. So we'll get them in.
Well, good luck to you guys. A lot of kids in the ballpark, Brownie. We've said many times, it's fun to come to the ballpark in groups, whether it's a church group, Little League team, whatever. This is a great way to come see Astros baseball. Back to you guys.
It is. They are wide-eyed, taking it all in. Thank you, Bart, for that. Now we get a pinch hitter, Jason Bourgeois, for Casey Daigle after the walk to Angel Sanchez with 2 outs. And the Houston native, Bourgeois, tries to keep it going for the Astros with the lead of 2 runs, 5-3. He's 5 for 17 with an RBI. Just rejoined the Astros with Jeff Blum's injury, and there's ball 1. Bourgeois has had 17 at-bats. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Casey Daigle in 2 innings, pitched scoreless baseball. He allowed 2 hits, no runs, walking 2, fanning 2.
And Jeff Blum with that surgery this morning, and it's amazing how good they've gotten with him. technology anticipated out for 2 to 4 weeks. He had a similar procedure done in 98. I think he said he was back in 4 weeks.
Bourgeois hits one to shortstop. Daniel with the toss to Walker for the force on Sanchez. Hunter Pence's home run gives the Astros 4 in a game for the first time this season and a 5-3 lead.
Of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. For more information on Chevy's commitment to youth baseball, visit ChevyTexasBaseball.com.
Pitcher number 4 for the Astros, lefty Tim Burdack, was on the field much earlier today on that play day for the youth, working with the kids, and he really had them enjoying it. He is 1-0 with a 4.87 ERA, pitched 2/3 of an inning last night.
Tim in 20 and a third innings has punched out 18, walked 9, 3 home runs allowed, 288 the batting average against. And like Chassin, when he came in, it's a favorable matchup as he turns a couple of switch hitters around and has a couple of left-handers also due up.
Rip foul.
Jeff Kellogg down there at third base. That ball really scorched. Took evasive action and then had to make the call on it. And I'm not so sure that there wasn't a little guesswork involved in that one, because that would be a tough call to make on the move. And this ball really hammered.
He kept his eyes on that spot.
Now McEnroe would have been all over him.
Yeah. Evan Meek is warming up for the Pirates. And Neil Walker takes a strike there. 0-2. Walker 0 for 3, but he hit a hard line drive caught by Hunter Pence in the 5th in right field. Burdack has not given up a run in his last 12 appearances, covering 7 innings since he came off the DL. He hasn't given up a run in 15 to 17. It's 1-2. And Neil confirmed the story about his father, Tom Walker, who was playing in Puerto Rico in '72. Virgo Clemente died on that mercy mission, flying supplies to earthquake-ravaged Nicaragua. And Tom Walker, Neil's father, along with several other players who were on Clemente's team in winter ball, offered to go with him on that flight. And he said, no, I've got it taken care of. You guys just stay here. Have a good New Year's. Of course, that was the end of Clemente's life on that flight. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, what if, eh? He said, yeah, come on, fellas, jump on. Tim Burdack It's been a long and winding road for the Birdman. Drafted by the Royals in 1994 out of Rice. 5th round pick. Started in Eugene, Northwest League. And boy, you talk about a guy who's logged some miles. Wilmington, Wichita, up to Kansas City briefly in 98. A whole lot on the Kansas City to Omaha shuttle there, 98, 99, 2000.
At least those cities are close together.
Yeah.
He was making those trips.
I believe last year is the first full year he spent in the big leagues. He had a lot of those years where he's been on that shuttle.
Carlos Lee's waiting in left field to retire Walker, 1 out.
Spent some time with the Orioles in 05 and 06. Was also with their AAA club in Ottawa, their AA club in Bowie, Maryland. He was a Toledo Mud Hen and a Detroit Tiger in 07. That's prior to the spring of the Astros. Picked him up in 08. He got released by Detroit.
Garrett Jones has 2 hits tonight, a single and a double. He scored a run.
Tim also pitched for the Joliet Jackhammers and the Gary Railcats in the Northern League.
Really?
2003.
He's been a survivor, and he pitched 76 times last year for the Astros.
Somebody had to write a book on his tales.
Popped up. Sanchez is calling on the grass. 2 down. Yeah, that might have some.
When he was playing independent ball, he once found out he was on the disabled list by listening to the pregame radio show.
That's always nice to hear it that way.
I guess it's better than hearing about a trade on the pregame radio show.
Yeah. Pedro Alvarez has walked twice after grounding into a double play. When Burdack joined the Astros in 08, had a 1.71 ERA the first half of that season. And Joe Sampito was a little bit lower than that in 79. Joe had a 0.95 ERA in the first half, but it took all that time from his low ERA until Tim Burdack came along for somebody to get second lowest to Sampito. Two balls, no strikes to Alvarez. Burdack started that year in 08 with scoreless baseball for his first 16 outings. And usually left-handers like Tim will come in for short outings, 2/3 of an inning, 1/3 of an inning. One batter. 2-1 the count. This year he gave up a homer in his first outing. That was here against the Giants on April 5th to Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, I've always said it's good work if you can get it. That specialty left-hander rule. Not a lot of is asked of you in terms of pitching multiple innings, or but you've got to be really good.
Yeah.
When called upon, you've got to dominate left-handed hitters, or they're going to find somebody else to do the job.
23,123 is the paid attendance. Ground ball, and Keppinger to his left spins and throws to Berkman. Good play for the 3rd out. Burdack gets 3 in a row here in the 7th. 5-3 Astros. High 4 home runs in this game. Lee and Berkman have homered in the same game for the 3rd time and 2nd in a row. And Hunter Pence, of course, chimed in, as well as Jeff Keppinger. Ryan Moeller had to leave the game after 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs. He walked 1, fanned 3, and he got the club off to a good start, but then the right groin injury resurfaced for Brian, and he had to leave at that point, bringing in Chassin, who gave up 3, and it was tied 3-3. Now Evan Meek comes in with the Astros up by 2, 5-3. He is the Pirates All-Star representative.
He won't inherit the earth, but he'll go to the All-Star game, and there's why. 0.96 ERA, 47 innings of work, 42 punch outs, 11 walks, allowed a couple of home runs. So Charlie Manuel, a couple setup guys. And typically it's starters and closers on the All-Star team, but Arthur Rhodes, lefty specialist for the Reds, has made the team.
Michael Bourne gets it started in the Houston 7th. He's 0 for 3. Slaps one in the hole at shortstop, and forget about it. Ronnie Cedeno tried it anyway, but he had absolutely no chance to get Michael Bourne, who piles on another infield hit. He's the major league leader.
Yeah, unless he blows out a hamstring, you're not going to throw him out here. Probably shouldn't bother trying to make the throw. Only bad things can happen if you airmail it or skip it by the first sacker. Michael on for the first time tonight. Certainly has Ryan Domit's attention behind home plate. As I mentioned earlier, Domit really struggling throwing out base runners this year. 5 of 54 he has caught. 9%. Not good at all.
19 infield hits for Michael. Keppinger homered first time up. He's 1 for 3. Bourne takes off. Domit's throw sails on him and is caught actually by Walker backing up the play. An easy steal for Michael Bourne, the league leader, nails his 27th.
And you see the break by Bourne. Domit comes up throwing. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why Walker was running over there. You don't anticipate as a second baseman. Maybe because Domit's been throwing that poorly, but really what had to have happened, confusion on the coverage there, because if one guy's covering, the other guy's got to stay home. You don't open up both holes in the infield in a stolen base situation.
Juan Pierre, the White Sox, is the major league leader. Carl Crawford, Michael's little league teammate, is second. Double teaming the bag. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah. You know your catcher's having a hard time throwing when everybody, the whole team converges on second base. Going to the zone defense. Keppinger showing bunt there. And the Astros was a 2-run lead already in the later stages of the game. They're just looking to play for a run. I'm not buying it.
It's 1-1 after the Jeff Nelson call.
Jeff is correct. Jeff Nelson, slider.
Now Keppinger has a 1-2 count. And he'll look to, at the very least, advance the runner to third base here with nobody out. He's been a good 2-strike hitter this year.
One of the toughest men in the league to strike out. Good pitch there by Meek, because in a situation like this, the hitter a lot of times is looking for a ball middle of the way that he can hit to the opposite field. So you show him that ball that starts outside and then breaks further off the plate. In terms of strikeouts per plate appearance, only David Eckstein better than Keppinger in the National League.
David Price took over the American League lead in wins with his 12th. Tampa Bay beat Boston 6-4. It's 2-2. Tim Wakefield, the loser.
97 with some pretty good sink on that fastball, and Doman barely able to contain it. David Price probably starts the All-Star game for the American League, doesn't he?
Probably, and there are stories that Ubaldo Jimenez may be the National League starter. That would seem appropriate this year with what he's done. Strike 3 call. Keppinger looks back at the call by Jeff Nelson. That's out number 1.
How ironic. One of the toughest guys to strike out in the league, a situation where he's just looking to put the ball in play. But that speaks to the stuff with Meek, too. I mean, he's pretty darn good. Slider helicopters on him, but it hangs on top of the zone on the inside corner. Not a good looking pitch, but Foxtrot's had it in the zone. Keppinger's out.
Lance Berkman homered in the 5th inning to the Crawford boxes. He walked and scored in the 3rd. Meek had a big day on Sunday. Picked up his 4th win of the year, the same day he was named to the All-Star team. Ball 1 at 94. As far as being a Pirates setup man and an All-Star, he's the first since saves became an official stat in 1969. 11th round pick of Minnesota in 02. He moved along through free agency to San Diego in 05. He was traded to Tampa Bay in 06 and the Rule 5 pick by the Pirates prior to the 08 season. First major league year he had a 6.92 ERA, but he only worked 13 innings. And his current ERA is the lowest figure this late in the season for any Pittsburgh reliever since 1918. Roy G. Sanders at a 0.64 mark.
Remember him? Roy G. Dusty Sanders, they called him. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Dusty boy, he got there with a big chaw of tobacco in his cheek.
They called all those trail riders Dusty then, didn't they? Hey, Dusty. 1 ball, no strikes. And they decided to put Berkman on now with the intentional pass to bring up Carlos Lee.
What a scaredy cat. Can't be meek and go to the All-Star game. You got to be macho. Evan Macho. Blues are raining down on John Russell for this decision. Fans not happy at all. They want to see the big Pluma swing it.
Instead, he's reaching base with his 2nd walk of the night. Lance on for the 3rd straight time. Carlos Lee will try to make the Pirates pay for this decision. Now, there was an article about Fred Lynn, who's hit the only grand slam in the All-Star game. And there was an intentional walk prior to Lynn coming to the plate. He said it made him mad. And he said, you know, generally that's your reaction when you're a hitter. You walk the guy in front of you and you get mad. And you say, well, this is something I'm going to make them pay for.
Got to take a little umbrage every now and then. Home run's a big part of the story for the Astros tonight. 4 times they've left the yard. Mika surrendered just 2 long balls so far this season. Closer for the Pirates is former Astro Octavio Dotel. He's having a pretty nice year. He's got 19 saves, 22 tries.
John Russell's contract was extended a year, as was the general manager Neil Huntington over the winter, but he was kept quiet by the Pirates' top brass. Frank Quinley, their president, did not make that announcement. It was discovered a few weeks ago. The Pirates got a lot of flack for not announcing that extension of contract. Carlos Lee has a walk, a 2-run homer, and a fly ball to left. Pirates have the longest string of losing seasons in professional sports, 17. But they really feel that with the core of young players they have now, they've gone in a better direction than they started last year when they had some older players and traded them along the way.
And the question is, do they want to win? Because they've been able to keep their payrolls down, trading their veterans year after year after year, so their payroll is always very, very low. They're probably making money in all these losing seasons.
Driven to center field, McCutcheon glides over. Here's the tag by Bourne. The throw goes into second. It's out number 2. Going to third base on the lead drive, and now it'll be Hunter Pence batting.
Yeah, good base running there by Michael Bourne. Pence picked on the first pitch slider from Carrasco and whacked it out of here. And Pepper with the facade out above the bullpen. And Bourne able to advance. Hunter Pence gets a lot of infield hits. Roll over on a little ground ball, tap it out towards third or short. So Michael being able to advance from second to third on that fly ball to McCutcheon could really prove beneficial here.
5 multi-home run games for Hunter. Nice little 2-out single would go well for him here. Meek delivers ball 1. Pirate relievers have won 14 and lost 9. And before last night, when 3 different relievers gave up 1 run in 3 innings, they had a 1.90 ERA since the 26th of June. The Astros have beaten the Pirates in 14 of their last 19 meetings. One and one. A win tonight would give the Astros an extension of that Wednesday performance. They've won the last 9 Wednesday games, and they're 10-3 this season when playing that day of the week.
Not bad for a club that's won 33 games all year.
Yeah.
Where would we be if not for Wednesday? My goodness.
Hunter started the bat, but on appeal he checked his swing. He never really did appeal. It's 2-1.
Talk about overkill. 15 runs of support for Tim Lincecum tonight. The Giants throttling the Brewers 15-1.
I wonder if the Brewers now consider themselves sellers after they split the 4-game series in St. Louis, lost Gallardo, and then got drilled tonight. Way outside, it's 3-1 now to Hunter. Brewers began the night 10.5 games back, tied with the Cubs for third behind Cincinnati and St. Louis. (3-1) to Pence. Meek is from Bellevue, Washington. It's 41 times last year for the Buccos.
I believe that's the home of the great Larry Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Away.
Our buddy Larry is also from there. You know, the Brewers may be sellers at the trade deadline, but the market at the trade deadline is usually highest for pitchers.
Yeah.
And what they're talking about moving as position players, I don't know if they have any pitchers that would really get people excited. They're not going to trade Gallardo.
No. Good point. 3-2, 2 outs. Berkman takes off. Ground ball wide at third. Meek and Doman try to figure out a way to get Pence and get out of trouble here. 2 men on and a 3-2 count, 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Is it the 7th inning already?
Already it is.
Man, this game is flying by.
Well, it really is, and there's a day game coming tomorrow. Don't forget that at 1:05. That'll be on us in a hurry.
Beat the heat, beat the rain. Come on into the nice air-conditioned environs here at Minute Maid Park and watch a little hardball.
Another Houston native going for the Pirates, Ross Ollendorf this time. Last night it was Brad Lincoln. That's very rare in a 3-game series to have 2 guys from one team from the city as the visiting club pitching. Workman takes off, and it's ball 4. The bases are loaded. That's 6 walks for Pirate pitching, and Chris Johnson will have this bases loaded opportunity. He's 0 for 3. Trying for his first ever hit against the Pirates. He's 0 for 14 in his career against them.
Evan Meek, a guy obviously that John Russell likes to have available when he's trying to protect the lead. That's typically how you manage your bullpen. You have your closer, your setup guy. Normally they're going to pitch when you're protecting leads unless they've had a couple days off and they need work. And, Meek prior to tonight had not pitched since Sunday. But you don't want to wear him out here, and that's got to be a concern of Russell's. They're having a hard time getting together.
Yeah, now they want to talk again.
They're out of timeouts. Did you say it was the first sign after the 2, or is it the second sign? What are we going with here? That's a problem when you're having such a good year. You haven't had many base runners. Now you have the situation of the man on second very often.
Well, you're right. The Meek may inherit the earth, but Evan Meek has only inherited 16 runners all year.
Chris Johnson looking for his first major league home run. This would be as good a time as any.
Whoa, this one off the mid of Doman, and Michael Bourne will come home to score run number 6. So after all the talking, they apparently were not together on the pitch, or Doman simply did not catch it, and it's 6-3.
Meek's got very good stuff, good movement. So a combination of that and just not able to get together. I don't know. This is going to be driving John Russell nuts the way this inning's unfolded. You know, he's looking fastball there. He's going to shoot a look out and say, "What are you throwing at me, pal?"
That is crazy. Bourne was ready to come home.
They got both middle infielders covering second on a stolen base. Pitcher and the catcher can't get together. That's a good swing. Yeah, evil intentions with that one.
Yes, he did. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's the thing, as a manager, you know, if you got a club, a bad club, and you don't hit, and you don't pitch, you know, you live with that. But what drives you nuts is the mental stuff.
Johnson looks at it. It's 2-1 to Chris. Chris feels that he's had pitches to hit in the big leagues. He's only walked a couple of times. He swung the bat very effectively. Two and two the count. Obviously, the quality of pitching improves coming to the big leagues from AAA, and some struggle with that, but he has really set a nice pace in the early going. It's going to be tough to maintain what he's done so far, in fact.
It used to be the difference between AAA and the big leagues wasn't that pronounced in terms of stuff. It was usually in terms of the pitcher's ability to locate and the polish. But that's changed in recent years. There's a lot of guys in AAA, a lot of veterans that don't throw very hard at all. You find better stuff typically down at AA.
Meek gets a strikeout. That ends the Astros' 7th inning. They're putting up a picket fence. Single runs in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. They lead it 6-3.
quite yet. Through tomorrow, July 8th, you can vote for the 34th and final player for each league roster. Go to Astros.com and cast your All-Star Game final vote for those last 2 All-Stars to play in the game in Anaheim. Once you do that, TikTok game's locked. Nobody else can play. Go to Astros.com to cast that vote. Guys, back to you.
TikTok game's locked.
You like that?
Yeah.
You're reverting to your childhood.
Absolutely. I was spending too much time out there with the 7-year-olds, I guess.
I know engine number 9 going down Chicago line, but I don't know that.
There you go.
Jason Michaels is the left fielder in a double switch with Brandon Lyon taking over on the mound. He's 5-3. His ERA is 3.62.
I think a little bit of a bump in recent outings. Scored upon in each of his last 2 trips to the hill. Gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning on Friday, and then a run in an inning in the 3rd. Sunday was a loser in both those ball games out in San Diego.
Domet drives one to right over the head of Hunter Pence, and that bangs off the bullpen wall. Hunter stretches out for it, and it's a leadoff double here in the 8th inning for Domet. His 3rd hit, and he's on for the 4th straight time tonight. It was a great night at the plate, but he was charged with that pass ball and unearned run in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, he's struggling behind the plate, but at the plate, he's been just fine. Good look at his approach here as he sets the hands high initially and then drops them down into the slot, so to speak, and just misses whacking one out of here.
4th double for the Pirates in this game. Joel Hanrahan is warming up for them as Ryan Church bats. Church had the 2-run double in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Tim Verdak had a 1-2-3 7th without a strikeout. Astros have had a couple of 1-2-3 innings tonight for their pitchers. Church looks at ball 1. So with Lyon losing those back-to-back games JD talked about Friday and Sunday at San Diego, having pitched 3 times in that 4-game series, he wants to get back on the right track tonight. That's line caught by Sanchez.
He wasn't fooled either of these first 2 hitters.
Barely had time to get his glove hand up.
And Domet perhaps providing a bit of a screen there for Sanchez.
Yeah. Delwyn Young comes up with Ronnie Cedeno, the batter. He's in the on-deck circle. Cedeno is 1 for 3, a double. And then robbed of another extra base hit by Bourne. Lyon delivers strike 1. Lyon pitcher number 5 for Brad Mills tonight. It's foul and it's 0-2. Pirates have used 3 pitchers. Ross Ohlendorf tomorrow against Roy Oswalt. Roy's coming off a dandy game. Ohlendorf from Princeton University. Won 11 games and lost 10 for the Buccos last year. He's trying to recapture that form. It's 1-2 to Cedeno.
The Wizard 14-7 in his career against the Pirates with a 2.62 ERA. Pitched against him once so far this year. He beat him.
Breaking pitch. He tried to check the swing and did.
And the Astros signed a kid today from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, we need to mention that.
Ariel Ovando, I believe is how you say it. Ovando. 16 years old. Big strapping kid. It is considered one of the top Latin American prospects.
6'4". He's been compared physically to Darryl Strawberry by some. Left-handed hitting right fielder. The date for international signings is July 2nd. So that was 5 days ago, and there's Ariel Ovando, considered one of the top prospects in Latin America.
And for these 16-year-old kids, there's a window to sign them. It's a very special, very small window from July 2nd through some date in September 1 or something like that. kids that are 16 that will turn 17 in that time frame are eligible to be signed.
He has been signed for next year, 2011, to a minor league contract, and he'll go to the instructional league after this season. It'll be interesting to follow him. He's highly sought after by several clubs. Ariel Ovando. Foul back. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros have made a real push in the Dominican with that new academy they just opened.
Well, yeah, and he's still, you know, and this kid, I haven't seen him play, but from what you hear, he's a really talented young man. So if you're to project him in the draft, I don't know if he's a first or second rounder, but I'm pretty sure he would have cost a lot more money in the draft than as a free agent signing from the Dominican Republic. So you can really get value down there. And the Astros feel like they're getting close on Delino DeShields, too. Their first round pick.
Berkman fields the grounder. Gets up and beats Cedeno to first. Goma to third, 2 outs. Well, the Pirates' first round pick, Jameson Taillon from the Woodlands. Pitcher still has not signed. Now it's Delwyn Young pinch hitting for Evan Meek. Meek in 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, 1 run. It was not earned because of the pass ball. Charged to Domet. He walked 2, 1 intentional, and fanned 2.
Yeah, those kids at the top of the draft, first rounders, but certainly the guys near the top, they're usually the last chips to fall because you don't want to leave a bunch of money on the table. If you're the 3rd pick in the country, 4th pick, and you sign, and then the 7th pick signs 2 weeks later for a couple more $1 million or a significant chunk more than you did, it's like, whoops.
Young, a switch hitter, takes strike 1. 232 is his average. 3 homers. He's driven in 18. As a pinch hitter, he's done well. 10 for 34 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. He was a pinch hitter last night and grounded out in the 9th inning. Broken bat. Sanchez calling behind second for the 3rd out. No runs ahead. In the middle of the 8th inning, 6-3 Astros. The scene on the mound, the Pirates had fought back to tie it, and then the runner at second, nobody out. He tracked down this Cedeno drive to right center. The Pirates never were able to break that 3-3 tie.
Really confident in saying that he probably saved not 1 but 2 runs there with the man on second. Would have been 1 in, and Cedeno likely on 3rd base with nobody out.
Big part of this ball game with Bourne tracking that one down. Then he beat out an infield hit, stole a base, and scored in the 7th.
So let's give him let's credit him with a +3. 2 runs saved and 1 created.
Joe Hanrahan has lowered his ERA to 3.89. He is 2-1, and lately he has made 10 straight scoreless appearances.
And he's a power pitcher. You see he's got 49 strikeouts in 34 plus innings. Some pretty good arms at the back end of this bullpen with Meek, Hanrahan, and Dotel.
Hanrahan is 28 from Des Moines, Iowa. Drafted by the Dodgers in the second round in 2000. Pitched for Washington and Pittsburgh last year. He came along to Pittsburgh in a trade along with Lastings Millage for Nigel Morgan, Sean Burnett. Line into right field, and Quintero finally snaps it at 0 for 23. He's on with a single leading off the home 8.
Struck out twice and grounded to short. Prior to that, swinging the bat and maybe over swinging a little bit. Those strikeouts chasing high fastballs. Here's just a nice, easy swing on a fastball away, punching it the other way.
Sanchez bunted for a hit in the second. He walked in the sixth. He's 1 for 2. Jason Michaels on deck. Michaels is batting 9th, coming in a double switch. Carlos Lee left, and his number 4 spot is now occupied by the Houston pitcher. And Matt Lindstrom is the pitcher warming up for the Astros right now. Brandon Lyon no doubt will be leaving after 1 inning of work. Day game coming tomorrow at 1:05. This liner goes to right field. Church. 1 out.
Hanrahan was a winning pitcher last year against the Astros for the Nationals, while playing for the Pirates.
That's right.
They had already been traded, and the Astros and the Nationals had a suspended game that they finished here. The game was originally played in May and then finished at the end of June after he had been dealt. And he was hanging out in the hotel room when he got the word, "You're the winning pitcher."
That's a little odd. Jason Michaels hitting .400 for the month of July, 4 for 10, 247 for the season, has 5 homers, 14 driven in. In his last 14 games, he's 13 for 37 for a .351 average. Taking strike 1. Carlos Lee hit a 2-run homer in the third. He was 1 for 3 with a walk. J. Mike taking over in the double switch in left field for Carlos. So Lee and Berkman both have consecutive games with home runs now. Going into tomorrow, it's 1-1. Pirates have the top of their lineup due up in the ninth. McCutchen, Tabata, and Walker.
That's 3 in a row for Lance.
That's right, it is 3 in a row for Lance. One right-handed Sunday in San Diego. Michaels tried to check, but it's a strike, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now to J. Mike. Texas is still leading Cleveland 4-3 after 8. Neftali Feliz in the game in the 9th inning with Cleveland batting now. Michael Young hit his 12th home run. There's the block by Doman. That prevents any advance by Quintero. 2-2. Hanrahan had elbow problems this spring. He's come back well. Pitched 5 times against the Astros last year with a 1-0 record and an ERA of 3.
That's nasty.
Yes, it is. Michael strikes out. 2 outs. That comes up looking like a fastball, JD.
Yeah, there's no little hump. There's nothing going on there for a hitter to recognize. It's just a blue darter. Now you see it, now you don't.
The Astros have been out hit by the Buccos 9-7. Michael Bourne with one of those 7 hits turned it into a run in the 7th. He's 1 for 4. Looking at ball 1. Roy Oswalt went 7 shutout innings on Friday night in San Diego. Got a no decision as San Diego won that one with 3 in the 8th, 3-0. It's 2-0. Giants 15, Milwaukee 1. Bottom of the 8th. Angels and White Sox 0-0. Bottom of the 2nd. 2 balls and a strike to Michael Bourne. Oakland has a run in the bottom of the 3rd to lead the Yankees 1-0 against A.J. Burnett. Cardinals 7, Colorado 4, moving to the top of the 8th.
Rockies got them right where they want them.
Matt Holliday has hit a couple of home runs for St. Louis to give him 14 back in his old stomping grounds. And John Jay, the Supreme Court Justice, hit number 3.
The Judge starting to heat up.
Michael Bourne takes a walk and he's on for the 2nd time.
I'm not sure if Matt Holliday worthy of that all-star assignment this year, but maybe he's trying to prove the voters. I think the players voted Holliday in.
Yeah.
So everybody messes up in this process. The fans mess up, the players mess up, the manager messes up. Yeah. If I had my druthers, I would take the manager right out of it. I wouldn't let the manager make any picks.
I agree with you.
I think too, they're under tremendous political pressure to pick their own guys.
Yes.
And then some deserving players get cheated because of it.
Cappinger ripped a homer in the 1st. He's 1 for 4, and they're going to do it every time out of loyalty. Pick their own players.
Yeah. And then again, one of the drawbacks of the idea that the All-Star game matters for home field advantage in the World Series, and I understand the concept behind it, but I think what happens is the manager then his thinking is skewed towards putting together a quote unquote winning team. If I need like for instance the Omar Infante making the All-Star team because he can play a number of different positions. I think you got to get the best players there.
Yeah.
I mean, you want star power. It's the All-Star game. You're trying to sell the game. And that's, and I'm not saying Steven Strasburg deserves or should be an All-Star, but that would be the argument for taking it. It's really a showcase event.
Cappinger takes. Did you see remarks from Chipper Jones about Charlie Manuel's selection of Omar Infante?
I did not.
Well, he really studied on this and did a great job of doing his homework.
And I think that's unfortunately that's what's going to happen. That Omar is going to get hammered, and he is a good player.
Not his fault.
Yeah, okay player, he's just not an all-star.
What do they want Omar to do? Say, no, I can't accept this.
I am not worthy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Astros up 6-3, so if they don't score anymore, it would be a safe situation for Lindstrom in the 9th. Roll the 3rd. Alvarez with the tag. And Quintero runs right into that tag for the 3rd out, but no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded, moving to the 9th inning. It's 6-3 Astros. Texas Ford dealers and the 2010 F-150. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. Well, among the storylines tonight, heavy rain before the game tonight. But the game, of course, was not affected in any way, nor was the pregame practice. And now toward the end, it's Matt Lindstrom coming in. He is pitcher number 6. Brian Moeller left with an injury after 3. An aggravation of the right groin injury. The winning pitcher would be Casey Daigle if Lindstrom could nail it down, and it would be his first major league win since May 10th of 2004 against the Mets, when he went 5 innings, giving up 12 hits and 6 earned runs. It's been 6 years since last win for Casey Daigle.
Casey worked 2 innings tonight, allowed 2 hits, no runs, a couple of walks, a couple of punch outs. The save falls to Matt Lindstrom. He's got a comfortable 3-run lead as he takes the mound here tonight, shooting for his 20th save.
Andrew McCutchen leads it off. He's 1 for 4. Fastball at 95 runs in on him for strike 1 call. Brandon Lyon in 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Lindstrom goes with a breaking pitch, and it's 0-2 for Matt, who July 1st at San Diego worked a hitless inning for save number 19. Throwing 12 pitches in that one. He is well rested. Casey Daigle, a study in perseverance, waiting to find out that he is a winning pitcher for the first time since the Mets beat the Diamondbacks in that game, May 10th, 2004. 12-8, the final in that, since the Diamondbacks beat the Mets, rather, at Bank One Ballpark is what it was called then. 12-8, and the lineups look very interesting for that game. Chad Tracy, Robbie Hammock, Luis Gonzalez, Shea Hillenbrand, Steve Finley. 1 and 2. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Danny Bautista, Alex Cintrone, Matt Keita was at second base. And he's now playing, as you know, for the Astros Round Rock AAA club. Hit to left center field. Michael's over. Michael Bourne takes it. 1 out.
That's the 4th time that McCutchen has hit the ball to Michael Bourne tonight. You might want to try somebody else. He knows. McCutchen does the same thing.
Lindstrom rubs up the ball. Tabata getting in the box. He has an infield hit and a walk tonight in 4 trips. Lindstrom has 2 saves and 2 outings against the Pirates this year, with an ERA of 0 for 2 innings. That's strike 1. The Astros would be 3.5 games in front of Pittsburgh with a win tonight. It's 1-1.
Because the Astros starting pitching has been very good lately, the bullpen has not been taxed. So even though they had to make that early move to the pen tonight with the injury to Bryant, pen should be in pretty good shape tomorrow if needed.
Pirates will be getting a new pitcher tomorrow, Sean Gallagher. Grounded to Berkman. 2 outs. And Neil Walker comes up. The Pirates acquired Sean Gallagher from San Diego for cash considerations today. And he'll be here tomorrow, so they'll have to make a player move to get him onto the ball club for tomorrow afternoon's game. Walker is 0 for 4. Kansas City 1, Seattle 1. They're in the last of the 3rd in Seattle. Casey Kochman hit his 5th home run for the Mariners. Max Scherzer in Detroit down Baltimore 4-2, beating Brad Bergeson. Cubs in Arizona 3-3, bottom of the fourth in Arizona. Lindstrom delivers, and it's ball one.
Hey, for what it's worth, the Astros have climbed atop the Pittsburgh Pirates in terms of home runs, so they're no longer dead last in the National League. With those 4 home runs tonight, they now have one more than the Pirates.
Line drive on the high side to left field, and that bangs off the wall, and Jason Michaels has a play at second, but not in time for an opposite field double for Walker. He got that up in the air, but still got enough drive behind it to get his 10th double of the year.
Almost spoke too soon. They're almost tied in the home run category.
Yeah. Walker earlier hit a ball well. It was caught by Hunter Pence in the 5th.
5 doubles now for the Pirates tonight. Had 3 leadoff doubles, but stranded 2 of them.
Garrett Jones has one of those 2 base hits, also a single tonight, going 2 for 4 in this one. Pedro Alvarez on deck.
Yeah, and Alvarez a dangerous young hitter, so this is a big at bat here.
Lindstrom did not give up a hit in any of his last 3 outings on the road trip. 1 at Texas, 1 at Milwaukee, 1 at San Diego. Ripped into right field. Stop sign at third base. Hunter Pence hits Berkman with the throw. And now the potential tying run comes to the plate after the 3rd hit of the night for Garrett Jones.
In the middle of the Pirates order, we've had some good swings tonight. Walker has just the 1 hit, but he lined out in the 5th. Jones having a good night. Alvarez has walked twice. Doman's got 3 knocks. And that's the thing. When you got a kid like Alvarez, he's got a lot of power. And you're fearful in a situation like this. Even if he gets beat by a Lindstrom fastball a little late, just makes contact, you could ride it into those Crawford boxes pretty easily.
Alvarez gets perhaps just this 1 more shot to extend his hitting streak to 9 games. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. He's hit .350 in the early days of July. Lindstrom throws strike 1.
It's so important there to be able to throw that slider in the strike zone to convince the hitter that he has to respect that pitch, that he can't give up on the slider and just look fastball. I mean, you're going to look fastball anyway off Lindstrom, but you've got to put that seed of doubt in the back of his mind. Clearly looking fastball there, way out in front of the slider. Left-handed hitters have more problems with that slider off the mat than right-handed hitters do.
Time called. Waiting for the ball boy to sit down the right field line. Now they're ready. Lindstrom had 15 saves last year for Florida in 17 opportunities. This would be his first 20-save major league season if he gets it. And he gets it. Another breaking ball. He showed Alvarez 3 of those and struck him out with 2 men on to end an Astros 6-3 win over the Pirates. Jeff Keppinger started it with a 1-out first inning homer, the first of 4 long balls for the Astros in this game for the first time this year.